Yo, what's good? Today on the podcast, I had Kicki Zhang. Kicki is a model, artist, and all around creative person. We talked about growing up in Germany, how she got into social media, and what her plans are for the future. Please give it up for Kicki Zhang.
In the land of China, people hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions?
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion too?
Or do magic.
Well, it's easy if you try, Dick.
2, 1. Okay, we're live. Kicki, thanks for coming over. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. I'm very wet from the rain outside, but yeah, otherwise than that, I feel amazing.
Yeah, much different day than yesterday. I saw you were riding your bike around, or a mobike probably, around this area. I would call it Laoximen.
Mm-hmm.
I love this area. It's like you get the view of the skyline and then all those old buildings.
Yeah, it's like very nostalgic to me because the first time I've been in Shanghai was when I was like less than 1 year old. Like pretty much after I was born, I came here. And it's crazy for me to see how the city is changing and how all of these like old buildings disappear over time.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
yeah.
This whole area of Laoximen, I've lived here for 4 years. And when I first moved here, it still had that old feel. Like I think they call it hutong, or all of them are still around. And now this street up the road is half of it is just gone. One
Yeah.
half is still old, and then the other half is completely gone. They're building skyscrapers, and it's like such a strange contrast between what's going on.
It's crazy. And it's I this is why I love like riding around with the bike, because you really get a feeling for the city, and you like, instead of taking the main roads, which you only see when you're taking cabs,
Yeah.
you go through all these like small roads, and it's like, this is like China, you know?
Definitely.
Like I've been to cities outside of China, and it doesn't look like Shanghai. It's not all like glass and concrete. It's very like these like
Rural.
Laoximen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they first come to China, that's what they expect all of China to be, is this rural, like kind of ancient, but Shanghai is amazing because it's a mix of
It's so modern.
Yeah.
It's actually so modern.
Definitely. How would you compare it to, where did you grow up in Germany? Oh, so sorry. You started, I think you said
So-
your first 5 years of your life in Shanghai,
So
actually.
I was born in Germany, and then my dad works for Metro Systems, which is like this cash and carry. Like they expanded to Shanghai. So what happened is he was working for a German company, but they sent him back to Shanghai because he speaks Chinese, English, and German. So he was perfect for the position, and he helped them open their branch here. So this is why he was like, okay, let's move to Shanghai with the whole family. So this is why we moved to Shanghai, and then stayed here until I was 5 years old, and then went back to Germany. And till I was 5, I had a Chinese passport.
Oh,
And then I like, my parents decided for me back then that we change it to a German one, because the German one is
I think that was a smart
obviously-
move.
Yeah, it's a lot more powerful than the
Definitely.
Chinese. Also, like, you know, imagine I have a Chinese passport, and then when I go on class trips, like everyone is just like, you know, because the borders are open in Europe, like you
Yeah.
can just go. And if I had a Chinese passport, I had to like apply for a visa everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was a really smart move. But yeah, I spent most of my childhood here. So.
Yeah, that's really fortunate that you had the option even to change the passport. I don't know. Yeah, I have Chinese friends obviously here, and they're very restricted on where they can travel to. Like even to go to Taiwan, I think they need some type of visa.
Oh,
Taiwan's
really?
Yeah, Taiwan citizens can enter in and out of China with ease, but apparently Chinese citizens, like to go to the US or to go to Europe, it's a whole process every time they want to go somewhere.
But it's the same for me now. Like whenever I come back to China, I have to apply for a visa, and that's so weird to me because I'm like, yo,
I'm kind of Chinese.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm-
used to be one of you, and now I have to pay like 150 euros or something to get a visa. It's weird. I don't know.
It's a complicated system, and I think they're trying to do their best with like 1.4 billion people.
Yeah.
It's such a massive place.
But I think it's weird that when I go to Hong Kong, I don't need a visa apparently.
Yep. It's a strange relationship between Hong Kong, China, and Taiwan. it's all China, but it isn't. And yeah, I don't know too much about it to know why, but I do know that the times are changing quite a bit over here. Like, as you said, every time you come back, China has changed so much. So let's get back to when you're growing up here. Chinese is your first language. Is that correct?
Yes, I
Okay.
speak it fluently. And my mom was like, I'm really happy that my mom was really behind that. So even when we moved back to Germany, when I was at home and I spoke German to her like she acts like she didn't understand me.
Really?
So yeah, she was like, you have to speak Chinese or
Wow.
I won't hear what you're saying. So she was forcing me to speak Chinese to her.
That's a blessing, honestly, a blessing, because a lot of kids are so reluctant to learn a second language. I feel in America we're at quite a disadvantage of, knowing English, which is amazing, but it's the international language, so you don't get the opportunity to be pushed to speak a second language.
Yeah, and it will never be as easy as when you were a kid.
No, I'm trying to learn Chinese right now. Like, I go to Jiao Tong Daxue, and
that's where my dad went.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
your dad was not a native. Oh, yeah. So are you mixed? Like you're
No. I'm fully Chinese.
You're fully Chinese,
So-
but your dad went to study Chinese there, or?
No. He just went to normal university.
Oh,
Like,
just normal.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I always
just-
forget it's like also a normal college.
Yeah. He is a computer scientist,
Oh,
and
cool.
he learned that in Jiao
Wow.
Tong Daxue.
It's a great college. I love the campus. It's right in like not Shuhui, but I forget the name of the area. Like kind of French concession. Perfect location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really nice. So you're growing up here and Chinese is your first language. Obviously, you don't remember growing up here 0 to 5, but yeah, getting back to you moved to Germany. So tell me about that. Like, what are some of your first memories in Germany, like growing up as an Asian family? Because I know my friend, he's German. He's kind of a fan of yours, so he wanted to ask some questions. And he's like, I don't know anything about the Asian community in Germany, so I'm very curious. Like, what was that like growing up?
I think it really depends where in Germany. Like I grew up in West Germany, so it was like probably the biggest city there is like Cologne.
Okay.
That's what most people know, or Düsseldorf. That's where my dad works.
Mm.
So I grew up in Dortmund. Which is it's well known for their soccer team. Like
Okay.
Borussia Dortmund is huge
Mm.
and people love it. But it was very white. So my first memory. So first of all, I came into kindergarten and I didn't understand the language. So but
Oh, right, because you don't know German.
I don't know German, but
Wow.
it's cool with kids because you kind of communicate with your hands and feet, and
Yeah.
somehow you just like point at things
Pick
and you
it
kind of
up.
know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still like kind of hard for me because I felt like some of the kids were like playing with me, but then some of them were like getting tired of me because I didn't speak the language. So I don't have any childhood friends.
Okay, so you just never were able to keep up with them because maybe they never locked in. as
Yeah,
childhood.
it never locked in. And
Yeah.
then after 2 years, it was already time for school.
Mm.
So yeah.
You mean
and
like
then-
after kindergarten, whatever.
Yeah,
was
elementary
next.
school.
Elementary, yeah.
Elementary school. And in elementary school, it was still very white. And also I was living in south of Dortmund, which is like more like, it's like the richer area, I
Okay.
guess. So
And you said
yeah,
it's very white.
it's very white. And I grew up kind of around racism. Like people,
Yeah,
like
I
kids would
imagine.
like do the eyes
yeah.
thing. Like they would
Mhm.
like pull their eyes back and
Yeah.
be like ching chong, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And the thing is, I don't think the kids knew back then that they were racist.
Kids are just mean. Kids don't
I
know what they're
know.
doing, and
But the problematic thing is like their parents or like they have to
that is
get it from
unexcusable.
somewhere.
Yeah, that is inexcusable.
Yeah, that was terrible. But like when I was in, like the school system in Germany, so you have 4 years of elementary school, and then you just go to either like it's called Gymnasium or Realschule or Hauptschule. So Gymnasium is the one when you graduate from that, you can go to university.
Okay.
So I went to 8 years in this school, so for a very long time. And I was bullied very badly. But it was not because of my race. It was because of other things.
Okay.
So the racism was okay after that. Like occasionally it would sometimes people would question me like, do you eat dogs and stuff? I was like, no.
Fuck those people. But you know what you're reminding me of right now? Something that I heard, a lot of successful people come from struggle. And it's just like almost a story of every successful person. I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was relentlessly bullied as a kid for his height, for his ethnicity, this, that, and the other. And this story has been repeated with so many people. So something that I find interesting, it's almost somewhat of a blessing to go through that kind of hardship as a kid. It makes you stronger. It makes you,
Yeah,
you know,
it makes
maybe
you also,
learn who you are.
Yeah. Also, you don't want to fit in at some point. Like at the beginning, I was like, oh, why don't I fit in?
Yes.
But then after a while, I'm like, I actually don't want to be part of that. Like these people are miserable. I don't want to be part of that. So I started to do my own thing. And this is when I discovered the internet. And then
okay, what age was that? Because you're in 1994, right? You were born.
I'm 95.
Oh, 95.
95.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 92. So it's strange when I'm talking to people that are younger than me because I hang out with a lot of people that are older than me. That's who I tend to circle myself with. But so you're 95. So you probably discovered the internet at what age? Like earlier than me.
I was like, I remember back then, I think when I was 12, I first because my dad was always, because he's a computer scientist.
Oh yeah.
So we had like internet and everything pretty early, I would say. I think even, was it already like a thing when I was 10? I don't know, but I remember
the internet was already around even in 95. But in terms of the internet as we know it, social media didn't start to pop off until like 2005, 2006.
Yeah. So I think when I first started, I used MySpace, which is not existent anymore.
Well, it is, but no one uses it. They still have it. It's like a music platform now.
Really?
Yeah, they totally, Ashton Kutcher bought it, I believe, and then they transformed it into like solely for music. Like that's the spin-off of it.
Oh, damn. But I was already at like the last wave of people using MySpace.
Yeah, it was probably like flowing out at that point.
I was emo back then because it was a thing.
MySpace was an amazing place to be emo. You could do like, if you learned how to code the HTML and like put GIFs and stuff in your top 8. Do you remember your top 8?
Oh, I can't remember it.
But you remember the thing, top 8, right?
Yeah.
That was so much fun. It's like so much beef would start with people. Oh, why am I not in your top 8? That kind of shit.
Yeah. And then we had something in Germany called SchülerVZ, which was like the pre-thing to Facebook, I would say.
Oh, so there was a German-centric social media.
Yeah, it was a German. It was kind of stupid. It was basically the same thing as Facebook, but then Facebook came out and SchülerVZ died. I think the site doesn't exist anymore.
That's interesting.
They had something called Gruscheln on it. So like, it was like the same thing as in Facebook, you poke someone. Gruscheln is in German grüßen, which is like greetings, and kuscheln, which is like cuddling. Okay. And they made one word out of that. They call it Gruscheln.
Interesting.
And it doesn't do anything. You just click it.
You cuddle with them.
Like,
quick little cuddle. Well, I remember, okay, so it was like kind of cool to not want to get on Facebook at my high school. Like, oh, don't get on it. But then like, girls would maybe sign you up for it. So some girl signed me up for Facebook. She made the account and like made it for me. And it was a way for her to like, she had a crush on me, it ends up. And then,
that's cute.
It was, thinking back about it, it was pretty cute. But then, so like going back to what you said about poke, or what is this like cuddle thing in Germany? Groschen. So, what I'm realizing is a lot of our first interactions, might have been through social media, even as we were both growing up. Do you feel the same way? Like as you're maturing as a kid and you're learning maybe about your sexuality and you're trying to like hook up with people. Like I'm just starting to realize this right now. Like that was one of my first experiences in that world of relationships. So I don't know, this thought just came to my head. I share it.
I think my first encounter with like relationships was actually, it was also with the help of internet, but I met my first crush in real life because so what SchülerVZ was good for, like groups and like group chats and stuff. So I would sign up for like emo meetups. And this is the stuff I went to.
What kind of music were you listening to in these emo?
Oh, damn. Like post-hardcore, punk, hardcore, like this kind of music. Yeah. I still like it.
Were you ever in a band? You look like you could have been like the lead singer of a band or something like that.
I mean, I had like fire red hair and like this like typical
So you were
fringe.
always about color and stuff like that, even as you were growing up.
Yeah, I was very experimental with everything. So I had my phases, I would say. But
so go back to your meeting up at these emo meetups?
It was basically just people like meeting up in a park. Sometimes people would just like drink and like chill together, and most of the times like one person was bringing a guitar and was like singing something, and like I was not really participating in like drinking because I still till today I don't really like alcohol. I'm just not I can't stomach it.
Okay.
But it was really amazing because there I met people who were interested in, for example, anime. You know, like I was I was never a Disney girl. I was always like super into anime, and I found like so many people who share like same interests as me. And yeah, that's also where I met my first crush.
Okay. That's really cute too. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people grew up this way and didn't even realize what was happening. I was quite shy and never got into meeting people just from the internet and meeting up in real life. I was always like somewhat very skeptical. Maybe it's the way my parents raised me. I just never got into that. But now, like as I'm older and I'm like super into Instagram and, you know, we have these accounts where it's like really easy to meet people.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love the people I can meet through Instagram these days.
All my Shanghai friends I met through Instagram.
Yeah.
Like my friend Amber.
I know Amber too.
Oh yeah. It was 2 years. That's actually the year I also met you.
Right. We met at Intersect.
No, we met at Yohood.
Oh, is it Yohood? Okay.
Yohood.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a similar event, right? Yohood.
Yeah.
My friend took me. I don't even know where I was at. But that story is crazy. So I'm giving out photos, Shanghai Observed photos, and I just give it to you randomly. I have no idea who you are. And you're like, why are you giving this to me? Like, I already follow you. Like, how did you know? And I'm like, what is going on?
Yo, like it was Amber who showed me the account.
Okay.
So it was, so we met through Instagram because actually it was kind of fate because that year I actually wanted to travel to Shanghai with a friend. So usually I'd come here with my parents, but this year when they went off to see my grandparents, I didn't want to join because my relationship to my grandparents is kind of complicated.
Okay.
So I wanted to stay in Shanghai and I thought, oh, it's cool if, you know, my friend comes as well. But then he kind of messed out with his visa stuff. So he couldn't come. And I felt very bad because he lost like, I don't know, 600 or 700 euros for the ticket. The flight. Yeah, he couldn't get the money back. But I was here alone. I was like, damn, now I'm here in Shanghai for like 2 weeks or something. Completely
Is that the
alone.
same trip you're talking about? That's the same trip.
That's
oh,
the trip.
No way. Okay, so you're talking about that trip.
Yeah, and then she was hitting me up on Instagram. Was like, hey, I see you're in Shanghai. Do you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, finally, I'm making friends here.
That's awesome.
Because and then we met up and we spent like the entire time I was here because she was also freelancing at that time, so she had a lot of free time, I would say.
Okay.
So we were hanging out like the whole time I was here, and it felt like we already known each other for a very long time because she had like a similar background. She was also she's also Chinese and she was born into a Western surrounding, so she grew up in Australia.
Oh right.
So
yes,
we had
Australia.
a lot of like, we talked about shit, and then I realized, oh my god, like I experienced that too, even though it was on the other side of the world, and it was really intense. And she was also the one who was like, oh, I have tickets for Yoho. Do you want to join? And I was like, oh, I've never been on a fair like this in China before. Yeah. Let's do this. And this is where, we ran into you.
Yeah, I was with my buddy Jonathan Lim, shout out Push Media. And he's like, yeah, let's go. Like I used to work with Push Media. It's this media house, and we were kind of just doing, we work with a lot of the brands here in Shanghai that are streetwear, like Herschel and the North Face and Nike, Adidas. So we just wanted to go and do kind of like research in a sense. Networking, exactly. Yeah. It really, I love my job to be that. Like, can you believe like that's your job too, to just go interact with people?
Yeah.
Like that. I feel so blessed that I can just do stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But getting back to Germany and your meetups as a kid. So as you're growing up, you're going to these like emo meetups. Is there any other aspect to Germany you can tell me about, like growing up and how it was different from, you know, maybe if you grew up in China or something like that?
I would say the biggest difference is that the school system is not as strict as here, because I see like when I talk to my cousins, they tell me like they go to school like 6 a.m. They do like,
I can tell you about the school system here.
They do something called 自习, which is like learning by themselves.
Yeah,
like
zishi. I understood that, like self-study.
Yeah, self-study.
My Chinese is on point.
Self-study for like an hour, then the proper like school begins, and they have like a lunch break, and then, you know, like there's no space for like, you know, like this. I think it's sad. Like I bet like, I bet a lot of kids, they're actually really creative. They have a lot of talents, just they don't have time to actually do something with it. So that's really sad.
Yeah, it is sad. My friend, I've already told this theory once, but I'm going to tell it again. My friend Ryan has this theory, and it relates to the one-child policy. So you know how that existed in China for a certain period of time. He believes, and I kind of, it's just like a fun theory, that as parents are only allowed to have one kid, it forces them to put a lot more pressure on them and require them to not take chances growing up. But if you have two kids, for example, your first kid, you might put that pressure on them, but the second kid, you've already done the process. Go play guitar, go like focus on a dream or a sport. So it's interesting to think about. Maybe we lost a whole generation of creatives because people were forced to have only one kid.
It's crazy.
Isn't that a crazy thought?
But also it's because from a cultural background that the kid has to provide for their parents at some point, because in Germany, I feel like when you're 18, the parents are like, you go outside into the world and do whatever you like. Like we can sustain ourselves.
Right.
We don't need you to pay for us.
Okay.
And in China, there's still like this cliche, like that the kid has to provide for the parents at some point.
Yeah, that cliche I don't necessarily agree with, that you have to provide. But what I do love about the family structure here in China is that the families will live together 3 generations in one house. And I think that's amazing. Like being able to grow up with your grandma in the same house, like grandma takes care of the kids while the parents are at work. That's really cool.
That's what happened with me. Like my grandma came to Germany for a while, so my mom could go back to work. And then after that, I had nannies.
Yeah. In America, we have nannies as well. And my grandparents lived like 2 hours away, and that's kind of lucky. Like sometimes, like we lived in Long Island, which is like right next to New York, and my grandparents were upstate, and it's not that easy to go see them all the time. I got to see them like twice a year. So I have no type of real relationship with my grandparents, like only enough to, and towards the end, you become really interested. Like, what? You were in World War II?
Yeah.
You were, my grandfather was like in the FBI. He did some crazy stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so like, it's like, oh man, you learn about that towards the end. So that was pretty cool that you got to have your grandmother, or just your grandmother, or also
both my grandmas.
Yeah.
Came to
both your grandmas.
Yeah.
Dual grandmas.
Yeah, 2 grandmas. Actually, one of my grandmas, she was also around. I have a little sister. She's 2 years younger than me. And she was born in 97. So we were still in China there, like back then. So when my mom was like about to give birth to my sister, she wanted to go back to Germany to do that. So my grandma from my dad's side, she is a doctor. So when they went on the plane, she was coming with her and had like a bag of like, everything prepared for like just in case something happens
on the plane.
The plane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, my grandmas were around back then. Yeah. But nowadays it's like kind of difficult because we live so far away from each other. It's not like, like 2 hours or something. It's like.
So grandma moved back to China, or?
No, they never lived in Germany for like a long time, just for like a couple of months.
Oh, just a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So how long did you live with your family? Because like we're getting into high school and kind of graduation. Did you go to college, or?
I went to university for 3 semesters. I was so depressed, and then I quit.
In Germany?
In Germany, yeah. But the thing is, why it was easy for me to quit was because university, if you go to a public university, it's basically free. And I feel like if I would have the pressure that my parents spent like thousands of dollars to send me to college, I would maybe have pulled through with it, but it was just not my thing.
You know what? I feel the same way, actually.
Really?
Except I'm the opposite story, because I ended up going through with it.
Okay.
Because like nowadays I have like a strong belief, if you're going to be in the creative industry, you don't need to go to college.
Yeah. I feel like if you have a natural interest in something, you automatically become good at it because you're interested in it yourself. Like everything I do, it was all like self-taught and learning by doing.
Yeah.
Just because I was interested in it, and university didn't help me at all. I'm not trying to discourage people to go to university.
Me neither.
If they're like the type who loves like to read books and like learn it that way with the system, go for it.
Yeah.
And I know people who love what they studied in university. It was just not for me.
Yeah.
It's just like a personal thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel that, okay, for example, my friend, he he went to college similar to you for maybe 2 semesters and then dropped out. He dropped out because he was already getting freelance jobs as a cinematographer.
Okay.
So it's like, why am I paying to learn what I'm already getting paid for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for me, like I learned how to be like a director of photography, air quotes. Like I shoot like I shoot with an A7S, like events and, you know, my own skate films, private projects, whatever. I learned everything from YouTube. And I think
YouTube is amazing. You can
YouTube is
tutorial
amazing.
the shit out of everything. I learned how to use video editing programs just from YouTube.
Me too. That's how I learned how to use Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, everything Adobe Creative Suite. You can learn through YouTube, maybe even better than college. Well, I wouldn't say better than college, but faster because you go at your own pace. You work at your own times.
True. Most of the tutorials are like 10 minutes long. And I was like, oh, I get it. That was actually so easy.
Yeah.
I just need to know where it is in the program.
Yeah. And I love, you know, you have like something on, like with Mac, you can swipe back and forth between screens. So you have the tutorial on one page and then your application on the other page. And you just go back and forth and follow along. Yeah. It's so good and easy. I love that stuff.
Yeah, true. I learned so much through YouTube. I love YouTube.
Yeah, let's talk about that because you when did you get on YouTube? Because I know you have a YouTube channel, and I don't think you're that active right now. But
no, so way back I had a German one.
Okay.
But
how way back is way back?
Way back is like when I was still in school. So I think
like high school.
Yeah, high school. So I think I had that account when I was in 9th or 10th grade or something. And I did like I would say like fun, like comedy kind of videos. Yeah. It was really cringy. that
Did
account,
you deleted all of it?
No, it's
you probably
not
still
deleted.
Have the footage, but
it's on private. It's on private because I still want to, you know, like keep it there so I can look at it and be like, oh, that's where you're coming from.
Reality check. This is who I am.
Yeah, and I was like, fun. Oh, I improved a lot from that. So
it's good to have those markers to see how far you come.
I know.
Because sometimes I can feel like if you ever feel depressed, you're like, oh, like I'm not going fast enough. But if you look 5 years back and you realize how far you've come.
Even like old photos, I'm like, oh my God, I was wearing that? That's so ugly. Yeah, but it's fun to look at it. So I still have that, but I've realized the German YouTube community is really hateful for some reason.
It's interesting.
Like, I don't know. I didn't like it. And then I started a new YouTube channel actually when I was in university because I was so depressed. I didn't want to go. So I was looking for a new hobby to do. Yeah. So this is how I got into it. And I started to edit videos and I was doing videos in English. And then people were like, only German people would make fun of me for my accent because when I started, I had like a stronger German accent. And they were like really like not nice about it. They're like, oh, why are you trying so hard to speak in English, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what is wrong about me trying to improve in a new language? Because school English is shit. The only way to learn English, in my opinion, is actually like with every language.
It's every language.
Just to talk.
Every language.
Yeah, just to talk and like interact with people. And I feel like my English improved a lot over the past 3 years, I would say.
Okay.
Because I was thrown into this world, like, you know, I had to work with people from London. The first time I went to London, I had to speak English with other people. I was really nervous, actually. Also because London accent sometimes, or like British accent, the first time I spoke with someone from Ireland or from Scotland,
it's a different language almost.
I don't understand anything.
Yeah, especially if it's not English isn't your first language. When you hear like a hard dialect of Irish, you're gonna be like, oh my God.
Damn. Okay. I was really trying. So over the time it improved and I was more and more getting into it. But then an opportunity came up. So I wanted to move to Berlin anyways. But then I got offered like in a like vlogging show. They asked me if I want to do it. And it was basically, so we had to vlog our lives every day. And I was moving into this like penthouse apartment in Berlin. I was living there for free.
What?
So I had a really amazing start when I moved to Berlin.
That's kind of a fun idea. How did the show do?
Not good. Not good. But I think the problem they had was they casted the wrong people because one girl, for example, one girl in it, she was really, really like famous on Instagram. She had like, I think when the show started, she had like 800,000 followers or something. But the thing is, she works on Instagram because she's pretty. But then
so maybe she's not good at talking to the camera.
she was not that great, and she hated it, and you could feel that. Like when you don't want to do something, but you're forced to do it, like people feel it.
Of course, yeah.
And she was not really like leaving the house. She was just like everything, like every day she was talking about the same shit, and it was not that interesting. Also, the episodes were way too long. Like they made episodes which were like 50 minutes long or something, and I was like, no one
50 minutes.
50 minutes. I was like, no one is watching a 50 minutes.
That's too long for a vlog. The
Yeah.
vlogs go for like 10 to 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they work best at like 5 to 8 minutes.
I know, right? Like YouTube videos, they have to be like fast paced. Like people don't watch something for that long. And then also there were like ad cuts in between, like all the time, every 5 minutes, because obviously they had to pay all the people. I mean, we had like, I think it was like 4
But is everyone vlogging themselves, or is there cameramen at all?
No. This is why I participated, because I was like, I don't want to be in like Big Brother or some shit like that.
Yeah, like you choose when you're on film, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's why I like the idea.
That was a cool idea. But because of that, if you film yourself every day for like, even when it's only 30 minutes, it's not only 30 minutes. At some point I was like, I have no privacy, and I felt very drained. So I was not feeling like making YouTube videos after that. And YouTube is actually a lot of work. Like sometimes I film a video for 1 hour and I have to edit it for like 3 days.
Yep.
So
I can understand, because I actually tried to vlog for 2 days, because like, I don't know if you've seen Casey Neistat.
Oh yeah, of course, I love it. Yeah.
I love his videos, and they look so much fun. So I basically just copied his style completely.
Okay.
And I just felt like so invasive, like I was invading my own privacy. It was so strange, so uncomfortable. It was fun, but I just, like you said, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I had to act, and I don't want, like, the type of content I want to create, I want to do it because I want to do it. Imagine if it did get big, then I have to pretend to be this person all the time.
Yeah.
I think Casey is a special person who can just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I think I would watch your vlogs because, you're like,
No, but this was like 2 years ago, before I got into the Shanghai Observe stuff. It was just going to be like, but yeah, maybe you would watch them. But as you said, I learned that it isn't for me, because I'm the same personality as that person. I don't want to have a camera on my face all day long.
Yeah,
that's
I get
what
that.
I felt. What about you? So
I was comfortable in front of the camera. I was just not. I was totally comfortable like filming myself. But then it comes up that I want to meet friends, and then I have to tell them, "Yo, I have to vlog."
Yes, that was part of it.
Yeah,
my friends end up on camera, and I'm like,
I know.
I'm sorry, I gotta do this.
so awkward. Like, because sometimes my friends were very understanding. They were like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." But I could feel that they don't necessarily want to be in this thing or in the vlog. And it was also like kind of weird to like vlog around them, like not showing them, and then be like, oh, I'm meeting these people, but you can't see it on camera, right? So
because like you're setting up a scene.
Yeah.
yeah. It's all kind of fake, which makes it like in my own head cringeworthy, because I know I'm like living a fake lie, and but like that's like kind of, I don't think I should listen to that part of my brain, because I do think it's fun to make those types of videos.
Yeah, when I vlog for myself, it was really great. It was just like vlogging for another channel. And also it was in German. Oh. So I was back like thrown into the
German YouTube culture, which you hated.
Yeah. And I realized that because on the show, I was trying to talk about like feminism and blah, blah. And there was one guy in the show, I fucking hated him. Because he would like drop comments like, because we were like driving because we wanted to pick up groceries, and he was driving and vlogging at the same time. And while he was driving, the car went like, I don't know, it was like
swerving, like an idiot. You shouldn't
swerving.
Be holding
it was so
camera.
Dangerous. And I told him, yo, put the fucking camera away.
Yeah.
Our lives is on stake. And the only thing he said to me was, oh, you girls are always so scared when we men drive. I was like, what the fuck, dude? This was so inappropriate. And I was trying to talk about feminism and like sexism and stuff like that on the show. And the thing was, people won't listen. They would just be like, oh, you're bullying him. I was like, no.
What? People wouldn't take your side?
No.
Wow.
They were like, oh, you're just like this. I don't know. They hated me on that show.
Were these like producers, or were they the other cast members?
He was another cast member.
He was a cast member, but the
Yeah.
people that took his side, were they like producers or cast members?
No, it was like
Oh, it's
people could
all-
comment on it. So it was like the viewers,
commenters.
the comments.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
that's the
that
last
was
place I want to
terrible.
put. Like, I don't want to put myself in that position. If I'm you, like you don't need that. Do your own channel. So fuck that show. You leave the show, and then you.
Yeah, the show actually it was canceled. I didn't even need to leave it.
Oh, did it even air? Oh, well,
it
obviously
aired.
it aired because there was comments.
It aired for like 8 months or something, and then they canceled the whole thing. I think the website isn't even available anymore. It's gone.
Just gone. Yeah.
It was produced by Vice, actually, by Vice Germany, which I think was really interesting. But it was sponsored by a TV station called RTL.
Okay.
And it's like
local station.
It's a German TV station, and RTL 2, so RTL 2. It's the kind of channel that would air like very cringe, like shitty shows, like Bachelor and stuff like that. Probably, I don't know, like like stuff that I wouldn't watch usually.
Yeah.
And the thing was, the whole idea, the whole vlogging idea thing, it was a really interesting concept,
Yeah.
but they just didn't do it right because they tried to do like TV things on the internet. And because on TV, like it's normal to have like a 50-minute episode. It's normal to cause all of this like fake drama and stuff, but it's not the same on the internet. And like there was actually one episode, there was like a huge shitstorm. And it was all like people like they were telling me, oh, I'm gonna kill you and your mom and blah blah blah. It was a huge, it was like just a fight between me and the dude.
Okay.
And yeah, it was
This fucking
terrible.
dude.
And the thing was, so it was always like 1 week in between. So we filmed on a Monday and the episode would air like next week Monday. So for us, the problem was already solved. But then it aired. And
oh my god, it gets reignited. Yeah, because like it goes live in the comments, and like you have to respond to these comments in real life with these people.
Yeah,
that is strange.
That's terrible.
A strange world to live in.
Yeah, that was really really weird. But I'm happy for the experience. Like I made my back. I walked out of that. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna continue with my own stuff, and this is what I've been doing. And also, I met my roommate there. So. Actually he was living with another girl on the show, but so they were living together, and then she wanted to move to her boyfriend, so I took her room in Berlin, which was like also in the same area where the show was for some reason, I don't know. So I lived with him, and he's now my manager.
Wow.
So yeah,
full circle. Wow, you got introduced to the right people then. Do you have a good relationship with the manager? I have no idea what it would be like to work with a manager. I think that's
we have an amazing relationship because he really knows what I want, and he really knows what kind of vision I have for my stuff. And because we lived together for almost a year, or I think it was even over a year, he knows me really well. Because if you live together, you don't only see the good sides when you like meet up with someone, you also see the really bad sides.
Sure.
So he is always very honest with me. Like when I fuck up, he would tell me, you fucked up.
That's a good person to have by your side.
Yeah.
A lot of people will lie, like just to like, make you feel good.
Yeah, like they would like, bring it over in a very like sweet way, like, this is not a good time, but he would just be like, no, you fucked up.
Wow. Yeah, that's something I kind of wanted to get into. As you become somewhat of a celebrity, you become more popular, friends can change. I think I saw the other day you posted like, yeah, like I lost a lot of weight and I lost a lot of friends or something like that.
Yeah. So, like it's weird because I don't feel like I'm a celebrity. It's because like I guess like a lot of people follow me on Instagram, but for me, I never wanted to be like popular, or I just did what I did because I wanted to be creative.
Yeah, creative. That's the better reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that people like that and people follow me, and they because like East Asian girls are not very that represented in mainstream media, so people are looking for it in social media.
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best. 2 East Asian girls on the show this week.
Yeah, it's really cool because I realized a lot of girls following me are Asian girls. I went to a K-pop concert once in Germany.
Okay.
From Dean. Do you know him? He's like a Korean R&B singer.
Not familiar, but K-pop is absolutely massive.
I know, and I went to the show, and like I swear, like 60 people or something came up to me and wanted to take a picture with me. I was like, what
Wow.
the fuck is going on?
That's
I felt
cool.
so weird that day. Yeah, but that's really cool that, I can be inspirational to, like all these Asian girls.
Yeah.
But it's just really weird for me because at some point, I guess I have some kind of an influence on certain things.
You are an influencer, yes.
Yeah, and some people try to take advantage of that. Like
Yeah.
I heard from people like they were saying, "Oh, keep her, like don't unfollow her. She can get you guest list for shit and like stuff like that." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so rude."
So like kind of like dog eat dog world. Like, why are you
Yeah.
sacrificing a relationship or that whole follow unfollow thing? I learned my lesson super, super tough on that one because I was an idiot back in the day. Like when I started Shanghai Observed, I want to share a story that was a big learning lesson for me in life.
Okay.
I made Shanghai Observed. I was following all my friends, and then once the account started to get bigger, I very stupidly decided to unfollow all of my friends. And the reason was because I wanted more anonymity behind the account.
Okay.
So if I'm following a bunch of my friends, like people kind of know who it is, or, it doesn't seem like a brand. I wanted the account to be a brand. That was my reasoning. And so I unfollowed a lot of my friends, and I'm following just other like accounts like Subway Creatures and like drunk people doing things, like stuff that is similar to the content that so this was like a business decision. Where I really fucked up is I just should have told my friends like, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's nothing personal. But for me, it was like, if I tell them, then it makes it so real. And like, this is a different world, Instagram. So I don't know if you can relate to that at all. Anyways, I want to say like, I learned my lesson. It was very stupid to do something like that.
Did someone like came up to you and was like, why did you unfollow me?
I know, like other people unfollowed me. And then my problem was I got offended that they unfollowed Shanghai Observed but in the reality, I unfollowed them first.
Okay.
So I was getting upset over something that was, something that I started, but I didn't see that because I looked at it as a business decision.
Okay.
And anyways,
but they don't understand if you don't tell them.
Exactly. And so that's where I learned my lesson. It was so stupid of me to like do something like that and not like talk to them to their face or DM them and just be like, this is what I'm doing. I don't mean anything by it.
Yeah. This is like I'm still learning because it's difficult for me to talk about certain things or like start a conversation, especially when it's about like feelings or something. So I realized if you just communicate, like these problems, they
will be non-existent.
They will be non-existent.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, anyways, it ends up being a fallout with one of my close friends because he got upset with me and it escalated, and then now we're not close friends anymore because of something.
Crazy.
Even to this day,
over Instagram.
Even to this day. If you're listening, this is completely my fault. And I kind of want to share this with people because I think it's an important lesson that like, if you can learn this through me, you don't have to go through this bullshit. Like just talk to, exactly as you said, like communicate with people and these types of problems won't happen.
Yeah. I also told someone like unfollow them. I was like, it's nothing personal. It's just the stuff that you post. It's not necessarily what I want to see on my timeline, but it doesn't mean I don't like you in real life.
Yeah. Your internet world and your real world doesn't have to like be one. They can kind of be the solution for me for that is I just mute people. So that, so like, cause I don't want to unfollow people. I like, for me, I want to follow you and support you. But if the content you're posting, I'm not a fan of, I can just mute you. And then I hope that's not like offensive. Like everyone listening, God damn it. I'm sharing my stories, but I think it's okay I like to be 100% honest. And that's the way that I handle the situation. You can just mute someone.
Just be honest. Yeah. I think that's,
So getting back to YouTube, tell me like, so I want to go back to you are doing the German show. And then at what stage in your YouTube career is this? You're already in it deep, or do you continue to pursue YouTube after the German show?
I tried to do like some vlogs, but I was just not feeling it. And I was just like feeling like I'm doing this. It wasn't fun anymore for me. It was more like, like people were like pressuring me to do more YouTube videos, and I kind of felt uncomfortable doing it. Like now I really want to go back into it, but now there's like the time problem because now I have a lot of jobs because of and I have a lot of jobs because of Instagram, and I'm traveling a lot, and I'm really thankful for all the opportunities. But as I said, like YouTube takes a lot of time, so I don't have the same time anymore. But I planned a few videos that I wanted to do, but it's not like vlogging anymore. It's more like something artsy that I wanted to do.
Yeah, make them like you can use YouTube as a creative outlet where you're not you don't schedule the posts.
Yeah.
It can be like once a month, and then maybe you take a break and post like
Yeah,
in the next
definitely.
2 months.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Have you ever thought of working with an editor? Because that's the biggest time chunk there.
The problem is I have like control issues with that.
Well, what if like the person edited it and then they send it to you and then you make the final choice? Like imagine if you found an editor you have the same relationship that you do with your manager. You really trust
That's
him.
difficult though, because my manager situation is like, for me at least, it's very unique. So because I talked to other people before that wanted to become my manager, and one of them, like for example, he didn't get what I wanted to do. Like he was trying to make a trap singer out of me because he was like,
a trap singer?
Yeah,
that'd be kind of badass though.
The thing is, he was like, oh, you have the look, and I know people in the music industry, so you don't have to write anything. I'm gonna it was like, but it was like, I think it was fake because I don't have such a deep, like, I love music, but I'm not a musician.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'm gonna like do a song for fun, but I didn't want this to be my career.
Okay.
But he was trying to push me into that direction. So it's really hard to find someone who had like the same vision as me. And I don't know any video editors. Maybe I'm just gonna like do an Instagram shout out, be like, hey, I'm looking for an editor.
There you go.
Maybe it works.
There you go. You can just honestly do stuff like that and you'll find an editor in no time. Because like the reason why I bring it up, like I know Logan Paul, like the way he operates is he has an editor in Europe. He's like actually very time. So he shoots in the US all day and then he sends the clips over to Europe, like almost opposite time, like 7-hour difference.
Okay.
So then the editor is editing while Logan sleeps, sends the edit back, and he can post every single day. Like imagine how much more content you're able to pump out if you work on a very like well thought out system. Like that.
But Logan Paul is trash though.
Total trash. I'm just bringing up the example of a person that does something well.
Okay.
But I'll have a little bit of a controversial conversation with you. I think he is trash for what he did, but something that I'm really interested in is the road to redemption. Like people deserve eventually to have a second chance. What are your thoughts? Like right now, there's like so much shit going on in the world where like the internet culture is just like call someone out, like denounce them, cancel culture. Cancel culture. So Logan was canceled. Like, oh my God, did you see the makeup dude?
James Charles.
He got canceled. Like, so as someone like, I mean, I don't think you do anything, but like it's possible to get canceled over misunderstandings. So what are your thoughts on cancel culture? And
I don't think it's good, to be honest. Like, I feel like people, like, if they honestly apologize, I think you should give them a second chance. Like Logan, I don't like Logan Paul's content in general.
Sure.
But
so you already had a reason to not like him, and I think me the same way.
Yeah.
That's what can make it hard to eventually forgive them because you already didn't like them, and then they proved you right.
Yeah.
That he goes and does something so stupid.
Yeah, he was
Japanese
also like
forest.
very racist in Japan. Like he was apparently he was, like, I haven't seen the video, but people were telling me he was throwing like Pokeballs at people and be like, I catch you, blah blah blah, and just do like these like very racist things, which he probably thought was funny, but it was not funny, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the problem is he had people around him pushing, oh, you're doing great, man. This is funny. You're doing great, man. This is funny. And if you don't have real friends that are like going to give you a reality check, be like, yo, listen, you're kind of doing something stupid right now. You should maybe like have a second thought about like the skit we're about to do.
I think his friends are all blinded by all the money he gets from that shit and like provides for like, I don't know, they have like a huge house, right? In LA somewhere.
Massive, like $6 million house in LA. And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think he uploaded a video where he was like honestly like apologizing and he seemed like really sorry for what he did. So I think that is okay. Like everyone makes mistakes just because he or also if I'm on the internet, it's just like a public thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's on a public stage all the time.
Yeah, same for James Charles. I haven't seen him apologizing yet.
I watched the video. I fell into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was interested. Like, I'm just so interested in society and culture. Like that's big. I love observing and trying to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. 42-minute video. He
really?
does apologizing.
Damn.
And what's so crazy is like, when he does his makeup, it's absolutely amazing because he cuts and like in the video, he does these cuts where he goes forward in time to come in and explain like something and he's not in his makeup.
Okay.
And it looks like he has a different face on. It's crazy.
Makeup is,
he's amazing at makeup. I'll give him that. It's crazy what he can do to his face. I'm trying to think like the drama is, are you familiar with the drama that went on?
Yeah. I saw Tati's video about it.
Yeah. I don't really know who these people are, but all I know is basically he was being mobbed at Coachella and he needed some type of security. So Tati or someone with like some other makeup brand had VIP artist pass. And the difference between an artist pass and a VIP pass is he had a VIP, which is cool, but there's still fans that can mob you.
Yeah.
With artist pass, you can go to spaces where there's not going to be like mobs of fans. So last minute, he ends up being able to get this artist pass. But then who's the company that he works closely with? Do you know? Like his mom or something?
Oh, wait, what? His mom?
His mom, he calls this person.
So you mean Tati?
Maybe Tati. Yeah, Tati might be the person that he works closely with for makeup.
I just know that it was, I thought the whole drama was about like her hair supplement thing. Like she has this hair supplement company and then he worked for Sugar Bear Hair.
Right. Okay. So this is, I know the names now. Tati is his team, but then Sugar Bear Care, he ended up going and having to do a post for them because he got the artist pass. So he ended up having to promote Tati's
biggest competitor.
So Tati is so, I can't believe I'm explaining this right now, but Tati is so like, why would you do that? You're going against my back. Like, and then James is like, I had to do it. And then there's all sorts of other drama in the mix.
I know, but I feel like it was a lot of stuff piling up.
Exactly. There's other things that are all happening and it all piled up.
Yeah, it all piled up. But I think this whole thing was really toxic because she was like, I want to make it public, but actually, no, you don't have to make something like this public. Like, I also fight with my friends, but I never post a YouTube video about it. I just like talk to them in real life. And this woman is in her late 30s. Yeah. Like, she should be.
What are you doing? You're a mom.
Grown up enough to not like drag this drama to like millions
an unhealthy
of viewers.
Level.
Yeah.
Like the way James was describing it in his video is like, I'm depressed. Like I have to get off the internet, like taking a break. And, as you said, this YouTube life is not easy. These people go through extreme amounts of pressure to maintain a level of popularity that they achieved.
I know. Also, this is why YouTube was also such a like big pressure because the algorithm is pushing you if you post like every week or something.
Yep.
And
a
I was
certain
like,
amount of length and all that stuff.
I know. And I was like, I can't keep up with that. It's impossible for me because YouTube is a full-time job and some people don't realize that. And also if something like this happens with James Charles, and I don't want to know, like, I'm not like, I support him, but it's just like, I feel bad for him because millions of people are going to his videos and calling him a faggot or something. And it's terrible.
Yeah, that's not
terrible.
Right.
I don't wish that. Yeah, I don't wish that for anyone. And people don't look at it in a they're just angry, and it's easy to just be anonymous on the internet and just like write mean comments to people. And I don't think that was necessary, to be honest.
No, what I'm getting at, like, I don't know if there's a better way. Like, you have to go through the mud because these people, trolls, let's call them, on the internet, like, they don't have this fame. They work a 9-to-5 job, some of these people, and they don't have the ability to be creative or do their dream job. So there's just these trolls living on the internet that these celebrities have to deal with. And I don't want to be like, oh, boo-hoo, these celebrities, like, they got it so hard. But it's interesting to me, like, what is the road to redemption? Is like, I've heard Instagram is debating turning off likes.
Oh yeah,
and turning off comments, or like Kanye West talks about.
But
this
it's not like completely turning off. It just doesn't show in your timeline.
Oh yeah, it doesn't show numbers.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
So it's still like the likes are still there, but you have to actually like actively click on it.
Oh, you have to click through to see.
So
the
it's
amount
not
of
like
likes.
completely without likes. I saw the demo version of it. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it's good because then you actually focus on the photo, because like unconsciously, if you see something has a lot of likes, you tend to like it more than, like if it doesn't has a lot of likes. It's so stupid, but that's the truth. This is how
Definitely.
our brain works, I guess. And I think that's actually a good thing because people can still like it. And as someone who works as an influencer, you like the numbers are actually for the clients.
Sure.
So the clients need to see how many people saw the
return.
post and blah blah
Return
blah.
on interest.
Yeah. So for everyone who is not working as an influencer, the likes, they shouldn't matter. Like it's not a bad photo if it doesn't has as many likes. It's just like people like certain things. Like I've realized, for example, people tend to like things more when your face is on it.
Okay.
You know, like I see that in other accounts. Like some of my friends, they post outfits and makeup and blah, and these photos get a lot of likes, but when they post something which they think is pretty and it's a really good photo, it doesn't get as many likes because the person is not in there.
Do you think that has something to do with the algorithm or the people? Because you know what, obviously they can detect faces in these photos.
I know. I think it has something to do with the people.
Do you think more? That's kind of good to hear for me. Like it has to do more with what the people enjoy. Like they just tend to.
It's one like in another, because if the people are not liking it, then the algorithm isn't pushing it upwards. You know, so it's both kind of.
Yeah, that's true. Like the way the algorithm works is, I think, within the first like 5 or even 30, they measure it by a second probably.
Yeah.
If you get like a ton of likes in the first 30 seconds,
they push
Instagram algorithm is
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a good post, put it on everyone's thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how it works. Unfortunately, your first 30 seconds or minute can determine the success of your post.
Yeah.
Have you heard the same information?
I think so. I think so. Like I'm just like, I don't care that much how many likes my photos get. It's just like, you know, like obviously I work for clients and they want to see like
exactly.
results.
So it's in your best interest to get a ton of likes. So it's a love-hate relationship with these likes.
Yeah,
I love it because it gets me work. I hate it because it's kind of bad for my mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
but I feel like right now,
what world are we living in?
Yeah. I feel like right now I have a healthy relationship because I always tell myself that even when it doesn't get a lot of likes, it's not necessarily a bad photo or a bad look or whatever. It's maybe people don't enjoy it because it's like too edgy or something. And I'm okay with that because I have to be the person who likes the photo.
Right.
And this is why I post it.
If you can press like on it, fuck what everyone else thinks.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I want to dive into your Instagram a little because my girlfriend and I, we were going through it the other day, and she noticed how you do color, like themes, like chunks of color as you scroll up. So like what inspired you to do that? I think it was really cool to see like the deep purples and then the oranges, like as you're scrolling through a block feed.
I did that because, you know, I was just like posting like everyone else, just like, you know, outfits and, you know, sometimes the makeup that I did. But at some point I was like, it's kind of always the same. And I wanted to set a challenge to myself. Like no one was challenging me. It was just me to myself.
Sure.
Oh, I want to try something. And color blocking feed, I didn't invent that because everyone does it. Like a lot of people
it has a name, color blocking feed.
Yeah. Color blocking feed. Because it was, I think one of the first people who did that very well was, do you know Charlie Barker?
Name's familiar, but I don't know.
She was really popping back then, also on Tumblr, and she did that on Instagram. And she was like, what was the call again? Like it was the wave after emo.
Oh,
it was like kind of like pastel goth or something.
Well, passive goth.
Yeah, it was like
sounds like a clothing brand itself.
Pastel goth. Yeah, it was like this Tumblr thing back then. And she did the color blocking on her Tumblr and also on her Instagram feed. And I was like, I kind of want to try that. But what Tumblr, or what's different is like on Tumblr you post stuff which is not your own content a lot. So you just find like, oh, I want to like my Tumblr to look green. So you look for like a bunch of like green 90s inspirational pictures and you just post them. And for me, I wanted to do it with my own content. And at the beginning, it was actually really hard. Like I was actually like doing like location scouting.
Right.
For
you have
like,
to.
Yeah, I have to. So it was a lot of work, but it was fun to me because then I kind of had like a task with my Instagram. It was not only like posting pictures anymore, it's also like finding locations, make the whole thing look more interesting. And I was just like trying to put effort into
giving yourself a new creative challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like actually the theme of my podcast. It's called Observing the Process. And what I love to do is figure out people's process. For me, I'm a very strong believer that whatever you do, you have goals, right? You want the end goal, but you have to love the process along getting there. So like what I'm hearing from you, it's amazing. Like you're already successful, let's say.
Thank you.
You're successful, air quotes.
Yeah.
And then you're almost maybe getting bored of it. Let's just for the sake of the story. And you find this new creative task for you to do, like creating location scouting and like adding a whole new project for you. So I just think that's really cool. I love to see like tell me, is that true? Were you getting bored with Instagram and that's why you wanted to do this? Or was it just like,
kind of like I was like my feed looks like, I don't know, 100, like probably 1,000 other feeds. Like, I don't know. I wanted to do something fun with it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big lover of process. I illustrate and I'm always sad when I finish like a painting or like illustration, because I'm like, oh, actually I like the process and not the I like the end result, but I love the process, like getting there.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So it was kind of out of, I would say, like boredom about Instagram.
Yeah. My favorite photo, I think, it's a yellow fleece jacket, I think, and there's a yellow background. It might have been in New York or something. And then there's another purple one where you're in like a shopping cart with a friend. I really like that one too.
I think the shopping cart one was in
maybe Germany, I think.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh, true. That was with my friend Sandra.
Okay.
Yeah. In the purple.
the purple
yeah.
get up. So like, I mean, that must be not so easy. So you do spend some time location scouting.
Oh yeah.
Going out there looking for these, because it's not easy to find a purple wall. When you think about it, it's like, wait,
especially in Berlin.
Okay.
Like Berlin is not such a colorful city. But what I always do is I also ride around with my bicycle in Berlin a lot. That's actually I had a really toxic relationship in 2017, and that's the only good part I got out of that, because that person was really into cycling, and this is how I kind of got into like cycling around. And I sometimes see something which would like something colorful, and then I take a picture on my phone, and what your phone does is
geotag it.
Yeah, geotagging.
I use that feature all the time.
I have an extra folder in my phone with like backgrounds for photos.
That's awesome. Yeah, that once you learn how to use technology like that more like smartly, let's say, that's not a word, but
yeah.
Because I do location scouting for filming all the time also, and all you do is just take a photo and then you can go on the map and actually like drag around, like see where these photos were taken.
It's actually scary because my phone always knows where I am.
Yeah, that stuff is kind of scary.
Also when I talk about stuff, like yesterday I was to a friend, I was like, oh, I'm kind of scared to lose my AirPods. And the next ad that comes up in my Instagram is AirPod cases.
Oh my God.
That's scary.
Yeah, they want to deny it, but the phones are 100% listening to what we're saying. Yeah. I'm have a marketing background, so that stuff really interests me as well. Like it's just some type of technology, because when you Google something, let's say I Google khaki pants and I'm looking around. When you go on a website that has ads, there will be ads for khaki pants.
Yeah.
They take the keywords that you Googled, and then there's a terminology for it. It's a type of marketing, and it's a service. Anyone can do this.
Yeah.
You can have keywords and then use those keywords to go on websites, and the cookies track you to the website, and now you're getting ads for stuff.
It's super specific also.
Yeah.
It happened to me quite often. Like also I was when I was in Korea last year, I had problems with my credit card. I couldn't withdraw money from the
international
ATM. Yeah. So I'm with Sparkasse, which is a German bank.
I love German words.
So then the friend that I was traveling with was like, oh, I have N26 because this is like, N26 is like an online bank. And he was like, it's so modern and I can withdraw money everywhere with it, blah, blah, blah. And the next ad that shows up was N26.
They must be listening. But like, that worries me. Like, okay, it worries me for sure on the level that they're listening, but it worries me, like, how good is that technology? Like,
I know.
How can the phone, if it's in your pocket, pick up that specifically? Like, Siri doesn't even do that good a job.
Yeah.
How is the phone, like, I don't know, that's really strange.
Yeah. I get why people have like when I took a taxi once in Berlin, The dude had like a flip phone, I swear. And he was like, I don't trust technology. They're listening to me. And I like he came off as crazy, but I was like, he has a point.
No, yeah, it's definitely something to consider. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any going back for me.
Yeah, same.
I'm locked into all this
also,
stuff.
I use my phone for work.
For work,
so
yeah.
I need it.
Let's talk about that because that's a problem for me, like differentiating between work and play on social media.
Mhm.
Do you feel that that's a problem for you, or how do you deal with that? Like for me, I'll spend 20 minutes trying to caption a post, but then I might end up just like scrolling through Instagram. And it's like, oh my God, I'm lost. Like back in Instagram scrolling feed when I was just trying to like post something.
It's for me, it's okay, I guess, because I pre-produce all my stuff, and I have my manager also helping me sometimes writing the captions.
So you're just on a more professional level than that kind of stuff. It's just like already done. It's like ready to post that.
I guess, yeah. So because a lot of times, especially when I work for clients, they want to see the post first and see the caption first because they need to approve it.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
Obviously, they don't want me to post something with like, I happened to a friend to me once, like, she was having a photo with like a gun and they canceled the job because of that photo.
Wow.
It was
that stuff pre-approved.
I know. It was a plastic gun though, but still, it was they were like, oh, we don't want to be part of gun violence.
It's off-brand.
It's off-brand, so they want to see it beforehand. And with my like, I have a mix of like stuff for clients and stuff that I just do for myself. And because it's pre-produced, like also because I do this color blocking thing, I need to rearrange before. So I have an app where I rearrange.
Which app do you use?
It's called MyPix.
MyPix, okay. Because I use one that's called Later. It's just like a scheduling like app for Instagram because you can actually schedule posts to go out automatically.
Oh no, this is
nice.
not. No, I'm not scheduling it. It's just
I know what you're talking about. It's just it outlines it just so it shows you what it will look
it's just
like.
for the layout.
Yeah. My app does that as well. It shows you the layout and then it will just show you what's up next. And you can schedule months in advance. You can do one for the whole month. Yeah.
I knew that there was something like this for YouTube on the YouTube website, but I didn't know there was
Instagram doesn't allow you to do this within the app. It's like a third-party application. Later, and also I've heard Hopper, but Later, it's just a little glitchy. It doesn't feel solid. Like there's stuff going on in the background that just like sometimes it won't post because like, oh, we didn't connect to the internet or something. And maybe it's just a China issue, to be honest. Like, the internet
VPN,
Exactly. VPN. And so it's going through a whirlwind of trouble trying to work in China, this app.
Okay.
Anyways, it's super useful if it works because you have all your stuff pre-captioned, like location-based, whatever. And it just automatically goes out at 10 o'clock every night.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
That's what kind of saved me a little bit is now I schedule out for the month. I do one day of just like coming up with captions and I do it when I want to do it. Because like if you're trying to come up with a caption in the moment, you can't force creativity like that. It has to like, if I'm in a good mood, I'm like joking around with my friends, like, oh, we'll go like joke around and caption some of these photos. Like I love to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty fun.
I feel like the caption, sometimes it doesn't matter. I don't feel like, sometimes people don't even read that.
Sometimes they don't, but like if I ever get a compliment, like, oh, that was a good caption, then I'm like, okay. I think we're in a little bit of a different industry. Like for me with like, I would call my account more in like a genre of memes.
Yeah.
I would say.
You
like,
do more like shareable content. I don't do
exactly.
like shareable content.
You curate your own content. You create your own content. For me, I get submissions and I curate through submissions. Is definitely a little different. But yeah, so you and your manager will work quite closely on everything you do?
Yeah, very closely.
That's pretty cool. Let's talk about healthy living a little bit. So you're a vegan, right?
Yes. I started to I quit eating animal products when I was 16. So it has actually 15. I think I stopped eating meat with 15. And then when I was 16, I was fully vegan. And now I'm turning 24. So it has been like 8 years.
Cool.
I know. Yeah.
And so you did it. I'm curious it sounds like, is it health reasons? Like some people do it for health reasons. Some people do it they just don't want to kill animals. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Was there a reason?
The thing is, I have two reasons why I stopped eating meat. The first one is, from an ethical standpoint, I couldn't kill my own animal. And I feel like if you walk into a supermarket and just buy like packaged meat, you're so like detached from like what it actually was before. So I feel like everyone who eats meat should like make the experience to kill their own animal and then see how they feel about meat.
I completely agree. There's so are you comfortable with people who do decide to hunt and then eat their own?
Yeah. Like I'm not like against eating meat in general. I just feel like also the industry is fucked up. This is the main reason
why
I stopped
eating. Those documentaries like Food Inc. and stuff like that.
Not only the documentaries, also the thing is actually there's enough plant-based food resources for the whole world.
Have you ever had Impossible Burger?
I tried it. I tried it in New York.
It's pretty good.
It was so
was it creepy
real.
to you?
It was so creepy that I actually asked the waiter, "Are you sure that you brought me the right burger?"
Oh my god!
I'm not such a big burger fan. But I wanted to try it. I had it in Soho House in Brooklyn. They had it.
Yeah, I did a project for them in Hong Kong. Actually, we went down there and they opened up. It was really cool project because Impossible Burger, for people who don't know, is plant-based meat. And they're actually, what's cool about them is they're not targeting vegans at all. They're targeting meat eaters who maybe want to be more like conscious about the environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing like way to approach it, because maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but vegans don't really want to eat meat at all.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah, so like this isn't even that appealing to you. I think it's really appealing to people who want to be environmentally conscious and want an alternative to meat that it might be healthier.
Yeah, that's like a lot of people always, the thing is, I like at some point I don't like anymore to argue with people about that, because they always like, oh, vegans will tell you when they're vegan. I'm doing that because obviously when we go out for like food in a group, I have to say it.
Yeah,
so
it has to be said. Like, okay, now I understand your perspective a little bit more, like, because I've heard that argument too. All vegans always will let you know. But if you think about it, food comes up 3 times a day. Like, it's kind of hard to not talk about it.
True. And a lot of like social things are evolved around food.
Yeah.
So I have to say it. So we can, and I don't mind going to a place which also serves meat, but I want to make sure that I have at least one option that I can choose. And I'm not like super picky. Like I'm picky by default because I don't eat animal products.
Right.
But
you're automatically.
It's
not like you're
besides that, I eat everything.
Sure.
Everything plant-based.
Do you know much about the health behind it? Because like I don't know. What I have heard is like you have to take some type of multivitamins. Like there are nutritional things that you're missing out on that you should be taking.
I don't think so, because I've been doing this for 8 years now. I get my blood tested very regularly because I used to have very bad hypothyroidism. This is why I was so skinny when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And like my blood, like the blood test comes out as very positive. I don't miss anything. I feel like you can have a bad diet if you're eating meat. You can also have a bad diet when you're vegan.
Yeah.
So
I don't know for a fact. I was just curious if you know. But if you get your blood tested and you're healthy and you're a vegan, then it must be okay. Like you've done, you're living proof that you're going through it and it's working out just fine.
I get why it's not for everyone, because for example, my mom, she tries to eat less meat now, which I think is, she only eats meat like once a week, but she can't go away completely from it because she has very bad iron deficiency.
These are the things I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like as you grow older, there are certain reasons why you will need to eat meat.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just your mom. Maybe you're an individual.
Yeah. I'm very open for people just like, like eat less meat, like you don't have to be like, my dad is the kind of person who eats like meat 3 meals a day. And I think that's not necessary.
Right.
I'm really open. Like if everyone just reduces a little bit, I think that would do a lot, because the industry is just so bad. It causes so much, like the environment is dying because of livestock. I
happen to agree with you. I've recently come on to a plan, vegan before 6 is my friend Camden, who was on a show a couple times ago. She's an amazing food and beverage entrepreneur out here in Shanghai. And she turned me on to the idea vegan before like 6 o'clock. So you eat as healthy as possible before 6. And then for dinner, have like that chicken, or try and avoid beef. Apparently beef is the worst. Did you know that in America, like some crazy amount of grain is produced just to feed the cows?
That's what I wanted to say. Like we have so much plant-based food to feed everyone, but still half of the world population is dying because of hunger.
Yeah, and it's going to feed the food that you're going to eat.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's
let that
crazy.
animal live, go hunt that animal naturally, like in its natural environment, hunt it and kill it there. Sure. Still eat meat, but raising farm stock, as you said, is terrible for the environment.
I know.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I
Yeah.
don't really know. What do you feel about like on a consumer level? Like how much does that do for the industry in terms of making a change? Because I always fear that like, yeah, there are things I can do as a consumer to change, but then like you're like not even a drop in the ocean.
I know, but
How does that make you feel?
You always also when you go voting, you're always like, oh, I'm only one.
That's the same argument.
You know,
yeah.
like this is why my approach also on my YouTube channel was like I was showing people recipes instead of, you know, there are a lot of like very preachy vegan YouTubers who like I don't want to drop names, but she was like basically taking footage from big YouTubers when they do like recipes and use milk, and then she was like showing videos of like how the animals are treated. So it was like a propaganda video.
Oh my God.
I like obviously when you shove it down people's throat, very often they are not open for that. And then they feel like attacked and feel very defensive. So my approach was like people don't have to agree with me.
Yeah.
Like I get that there are a lot of like extreme vegans, but for me, I was showing people recipes and show them, oh, vegan food can be good. It's not only salad. That's like the thing. Like my dad was at the beginning when I stopped eating meat, my dad was making jokes like, oh, what do you eat now? Like grass? Do you want to go out? Do you want me to go outside and like get some lawn for you? It's like, no, what the fuck?
So can you tell me some of your favorite meals as a vegan? Because like I'm trying to eat healthier and I'm just uneducated. So what are some of your favorite meals?
So I make a mean vegan bibimbap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm really good at making. So that's my manager's favorite food. So when we lived together, like when there was like a special occasion, I would make that bibimbap.
Then for people who don't know, it's a Korean dish. Bibimbap,
yeah. It's
right?
like a rice bowl with like different vegetables. And I always get this like soy meat stuff and I marinate it myself. And then, cook it together. And
so you said soy meat? So it's like tofu-ish type stuff?
No, it actually kind of looks like meat. It's like dry.
Really?
And you have
I've never heard of this.
You have to soak it in hot water first and then marinate it in the flavor.
Cool.
Like you want to
yeah,
have it.
there's so many alternatives to getting that meat type texture that you want in your food.
Yeah.
And when you don't really have to eat meat.
It actually looks like sliced meat.
Wow. Like, because that's what Impossible Burger is not doing yet. Right now, they're only working with restaurants. They don't work like directly to consumer. And imagine when that becomes available, when you can go to the grocery store and buy stuff that tastes like meat.
Yeah.
That's going to be a game changer. I hope they do amazing things. I unfortunately heard, I think they're going through some troubles with the FDA right now.
Oh, really?
On getting some of the stuff approved. But you know what's crazy? Imagine if that's like a conspiracy. Like, just think about the same thing happens with like big pharmacy. Like they'll take down natural, okay, so I'm getting a little off track, but imagine if they're going through problems with the FDA because these big meat corporations know it's going to take away from their business. That's a scary thought.
What people don't know actually is that a lot of these like soy companies are owned by dairy farms. Like in Germany, the biggest brand is Alpro.
Okay.
Alpro Soja. And it's owned by Danone, which is like the biggest dairy company. Which I think is very interesting that like it's so weird. And people are like,
So
we don't want to support Alpro because it's owned by Danone. But then I'm like, show them that there is, you know, like demand for soy products.
Interesting. Have you the only other vegan that I met that's a friend, I mean, openly vegan, strange way to say it, but my friend Leon Carson, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a really good artist out of Amsterdam, actually.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, he has a sponsor, Oatly. He works with, I don't know if you...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Have you ever heard of Oatly?
Yeah, most of the, in Berlin, most of the coffees are made with Oatly.
Oatly is out here as well now, too. They're in all the coffee shops out here. It's really cool to see, like, because I've tried many, like, milk alternatives, like oat milk and soy milk.
Soy is very, like...
It has a different taste.
Yeah, it's
milk.
very intense. Yeah. Like... You have to like it. I mean, I grew up with Zhang, which is like the OG soy milk.
Oh, really?
And that one tastes like very like heavily like soy. So I'm used to that taste. So at the beginning, I feel like all the cafes were doing soy milk. And because I was accustomed to it, I was not feeling like it tastes weird. But I get why people think it tastes like weird.
Yeah, so you grew up with it, so you're okay with it. But now as you
Yeah.
get older, you realize the difference in taste.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up on 2% like fat milk as a kid with my Lucky Charms and my Cocoa
my
Pebbles.
mom was making me drink milk all the time because she believed that it made me grow.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely a myth.
now I'm like 5'10" and she was like, you see, that's because I gave you milk when you were
You are quite tall. I was a little like, whoa, I forgot how tall you are. That's why you're a model, I guess. But getting back to Oatly, yeah, I was really surprised how good it tastes and like how good of an alternative it is to this fat-based milk because right, I don't know if it's fat-based milk, but like real milk, whatever you would call it.
Yeah. I think it's also a lot healthier because real milk has a lot of hormones. And I always had problems with like pimples and stuff. And when I quit dairy, they all went away.
Really?
I was like, damn, okay.
Found the secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I've had problem with acne as well. And I've been reluctant to, but I've been slowly getting rid of as much dairy as I can. Also drinking as much water as I can. That's changed the game. Recently, I've started as I wake up, I'll do like half a lemon of lemon juice and hot water. You sip that like tea. Delicious way to start the morning. And then you drink a glass of water. And it's the first thing you do when you get up, make it a ritual. And it's really changed the way like I wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I struggle a lot to like, I always wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You could say like, I just feel groggy. I don't enjoy it. But then when I've learned how to like, isn't that weird? You have to learn how to do certain things that are kind of like, do you have anything like that in your life that you've had to learn at a later age that maybe everyone else had like for me, it's like just waking up. Like there are things that you learn that should be natural. Like even breathing, like you can learn how to breathe. Like stuff like that is what I'm talking about. Do you meditate at all? Do you ever do anything like that?
I was, I'm actually doing it now because it really calms me down. Also, I used to hate working out and now I'm really on it. I try to go as often as possible.
Nice.
And also about food, I feel like what they teach you in school, the food pyramid, that's bullshit. Because the base is like in school in Germany, they basically teach you the base is like white bread. And I'm like,
what are you talking about?
It's so unhealthy.
I think a lot has changed since we were kids. Like, remember the Got Milk campaigns? Like with maybe you don't. In America, we had Got Milk, and it was just a campaign where there's some celebrities drinking milk and they have a milk mustache.
Oh, I think I saw this actually. It was so well known that even in Germany, I like saw some of it. But we didn't have the same campaign though.
Right. It was just a campaign to drink milk. Like I remember Michael Jordan and like Macaulay Culkin, probably Michael Jackson, like all these crazy celebrities. And now like, I wonder if it fell to the wayside. Like, is milk really a viable source of nutrition?
It's also so weird to think about that we humans are the only species that drinks milk from another animal.
I was going to bring that up and I just forgot about it. But yeah, imagine like a dolphin drinking cow's milk. Like what? That does not make sense. Like why would that ever happen? Yeah, you're supposed like yeah, okay. When you put it into perspective of we're drinking milk that's supposed to make a baby calf turn into a 1-ton cow. You know what I mean? When we end up only being like 100 to 200
This is
pounds.
why it's so processed. You can't drink raw cow milk. It's disgusting.
Oh, so that's
fatty.
The reason why you like it's when you process it, it gets. Oh, is that what they mean by saying like 2% fat? It's only 2% of the original, or
no, they heat it up. And they do something with it.
Yeah, I have no idea how milk is produced. I do know a lot of the milk that comes to Asia is actually from Australia and Korea. And what they do is they freeze it to get it over here. So like that can't be too healthy for it to be coming out of the udder.
But you have to process it. Otherwise, it's you can't drink it.
Okay, so processing isn't necessarily unhealthy.
Like
the act of processing a food maybe doesn't make it because like I don't know.
I don't think it makes it healthier. It just makes it like
just whatever it needs to be.
for your stomach because
digestible and
digestible.
Stuff like,
I think everyone is actually born lactose intolerant.
Right. I think that's kind of like a spectrum. I think everyone is on a spectrum of lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
Some people can just handle it. Some people can't.
Because when you're small, you're getting it like your digestive system. Oh my God, that's such a difficult word. Is getting used to it. And the reason why so many Asian people are lactose intolerant is because like the diet here doesn't include a lot of milk.
Right. And
Like-
it's been like that for thousands of years.
I know.
So you haven't developed the enzymes proper to digest
Mhm.
it. It's the same thing with alcohol, actually.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's why Asians get what's called Asian glow. You
Mhm.
get like rosy cheeks like really quick after having
Mhm.
like a shot of baijiu or something.
Yeah.
I've always found that super interesting because there are some Asian men who can still fucking
Oh my
pound
god,
baijiu out
dude!
here. Yeah.
My uncles, damn,
They
he
go
drinks
for
that
it?
shit like water. I was
Really?
like, what the hell? Like 二锅头, the baijiu. Like
Right,
I think
right.
it's the most like popular brand actually.
I'm not familiar with the brands, but I do know there's baijiu and like putaojiu is like wine. And anyways, go on with your uncle.
Yeah, he always buys these like small like glass bottles and just,
Oh, right. Like
it's
little flasks. You
yeah,
can get
little
Family Mart.
flask.
Yeah, I used to bring those home to my boys. Shout out Danny Broker. We used to play poker at my spot back in Long Island, and I would bring back a bottle of baijiu, and they're like, what is this Asian liquor? And it comes in this cool glass bottle. Little they know I'm paying like 10 kwai for it at Family Mart, and they think I spent mad money, and we're all taking shots, having a good time.
But that's just disgusting.
Yeah. Oh my god, it has this terrible taste. Like
The
aftertaste
thing
is
is,
so strong.
I'm traumatized because when I was little, that like I was at my grandparents' house and they were drinking together, like the grown-ups, and then one of them had like a glass of that on the table, and I thought it was water, and I chugged it, and I was like 6 or 7 years old or something.
Jesus,
And
rude
I
awakening.
spit it out immediately, and that was my first encounter with baijiu.
Oh wow. Yeah, you mentioned you still to this day don't even really drink alcohol. Do you think that has something to do with it, or just over time you just
I had my face when I was drinking quite a bit, like going out partying.
Sure.
But I had like two very bad experiences where first of all I almost got raped, and the second one was like I got lost. So I drank, and then I had too much, and then because my friends were also drunk, so what they did, from the club, they pushed me in a shopping cart to the train station,
Oh my.
pulled me into the train, and just left me alone.
Wow.
And they were drunk. They didn't realize I was
Yeah,
not able to.
accidents happen. I know kids are kids and drunk, and anyways.
I know. So I don't know how I got home that day because my phone also died like
Wow.
midway, and my parents wanted to call the police, and that was like a very traumatic experience I had. And then I was like, I don't know, it's not doing. I don't like the taste. It's not doing anything for me.
Like what value does it really add to your
Yeah,
life?
it's expensive. I also don't smoke cigarettes because I think it's expensive. It's not doing anything.
All right, the cigarettes are probably the worst thing you can possibly do for your body. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason to smoke. Well, I'm actually a fan of people who are vaping these days because I hate, like, I used to smoke cigarettes socially, just like because, like, you know, whenever you're cool in high school or college or whatever. And I enjoyed it, but now I get so nauseated by the smell of people like smoking cigarettes down the sidewalk. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very torn by it.
You know what surprised me? That like now in restaurants you can't smoke in China,
Yeah.
and people are actually like not doing it.
Do you know why people don't do it?
Because it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, you can rat on people. There's a program where you can, not the person, but let's say me and you are at a bar, we're having a drink, and we see someone over there smoking a cigarette. I take a photo of it and I text it to a number. Then those people will go and investigate the bar that I reported it at, and the bar will get fined 10,000 RMB for someone smoking inside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, like, yeah, things are changing quite a bit here in China.
I know. Like I remember like back then everyone was smoking inside and no one was giving a shit. Like not only in restaurants, also in like malls and stuff. I saw people smoking in there.
Anywhere and everywhere. Like
Yeah.
when I first got here in 2015, I caught the last year of that happening. It all changed, whatever, maybe around 2016. It just started to change where a lot of new like regulations were being enforced, basically.
Yeah.
I imagine all that stuff was there on paper, but they just weren't enforcing it.
Yeah.
So now it just became a lot more strict. Overall, I'm happy that you can't smoke like in
Yeah,
a bar.
me too.
Because like it's oh man, it's so
In
such a
Berlin,
headache.
you can smoke in a lot of clubs, and sometimes I go out and I come back home and I just smell like ashtray, and it's so gross.
I feel you, like your hair, like even your
my hair,
yeah.
my all my clothes, I have to wash. Like even my underwear smells like it. I
God.
swear.
Yeah, and it's like I have to wash this whole outfit just because it reeks of fucking cigarettes. Yeah, that can be Super annoying. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, as a model, you deal with a lot of bullshit probably, especially like as a female model, like on Instagram. And like I saw
Yeah.
just the other day, some dude was like, I want you to be my China girl or some
Oh
bullshit.
my God.
Like
Yeah.
that's so ridiculous that people think they can just DM you that. So I imagine you're using the block button quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I hit the block. Like my list is very long.
Yeah.
It's usually like, as I said, like thirsty dudes with yellow fever,
Mm,
and I just block them. I don't even respond. I
Mm.
just post it to show people, just like be aware, and also don't write someone something. It's not a compliment. Like
Right.
these people think it's a compliment that they're telling me that.
yeah.
I don't think it is a compliment.
Yeah. No, I used to, do you know Complex Magazine? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, of course.
I used to intern for them actually in New York City. And
Oh.
I worked in the studio and we would
Mhm.
do this show. I honestly forget the name of it, but we would have these Instagram models come on the show, sit like with the green screen in the back, and they would go through their DMs and they would like bait guys like that were like being thirsty. They would bait them and we would call them on the show live. And just like, so the Instagram model would call this whatever thirsty dude and be put on blast in front of everyone, like while we're filming live. And
Oh my God.
it was so much fun to do that. I would just like, my job was just to do sound. I like just sit in the back. I loved doing sound for shoots like this because like as a sound guy, you have like one job only. And it's
Mhm.
like, if you don't fuck it up, you did your job. Like you
Mhm.
recorded the sound. So that was so much fun. And I got to meet all of these models. I was like maybe like 21 or 22. It was such a fun time in New York City.
But yeah, my DMs are terrible. Yeah. So also not only online, like on shoots, I had this one photographer.
Mm.
He would just like, barge into the changing room,
What?
and then he made like comments on my nipples. He was like, "Oh yeah, very cute nipples." I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
My God.
And I actually exposed them. Like later on Facebook, I was like, "Don't work with this photographer. He did this and that." And I think it's very important to speak about that because it happens to a lot of girls, but they don't speak about it.
Mm.
And then when I posted that, I saw like a lot of other girls like commenting, "Oh, it happened to me. Like he did this and that, and he touched me
Yeah.
inappropriately." And sometimes one person has to make the first step, and then other people, like you encourage them to speak about
Definitely.
it.
I think that's appropriate. You have to somewhat expose these people and like, because this behavior is inappropriate and unacceptable.
I heard from your last podcast with Kylie that she
Right.
had the Terry Richardson.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I had
that's
no idea.
terrible.
I had no idea. So anyone who's listening to this that hasn't listened to the Kylie Ma episode, you can go check that out. And her story is she was like a Me Too victim of Terry Richardson.
Yeah.
How fucking crazy is that? I had no idea. And so she's on a photo shoot and Terry's taking photos of her. Like the way they do it is they set you up in this room, just you and the photographer.
Mhm.
And then apparently he sticks his thumb in her mouth.
Yeah,
And then
it's
she
so
has to, she's like
gross.
21. This is her first time in New York or something, she told me. I just can't imagine
Yeah, that's
how you deal with
terrible.
that. First of all, you're 21 and young and dumb. Like how do you even have the fact that she was able to deal with it is impressive to me. Like,
Yeah, for me, I was 18 when
Mm.
that happened to me with the photographer.
mm,
And like some of the girls are underage and it happens to them.
yeah, that's literal, like not rape, but it's in the dangerous like it's definitely legal to be
Yeah.
like barging in on an underage girl. Like I just can't understand it. Can't understand it. So like you've dealt with that in online spaces and offline spaces.
Mhm. I also get dick pics quite often.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it died out. The only person I didn't block for a very long time, he was like crafting little hats for his dick.
What the
I
fuck?
swear to God, like he was
Crafting
like
hats, did you say, or heads or?
no, like hats. Like on Christmas, he did like a little Christmas hat and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck, man? You're putting so much effort into it. And I didn't block him because I was like, I'm kind of curious what hat he's going to do next. It's crazy. Like some people
Damn.
are into some really weird shit.
That is crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. Why would you? I guess, guys, if you're listening, if you want to get into the dick pic game, start doing the hats. Oh my God. That's crazy. But does it get easier as you get older? Like for me, it's not nearly on the same level. It's is barely in the same category, but like when I get into a fight online, not when I get into it, when I see a thread where it's like some of an argument online, my position is I don't even, like I type out the comment and then I delete it.
Okay.
I just go, I don't get involved in these things anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering for you, is that like how you can handle it? You just delete
So
it?
the thing is, like with the DMs, I just like when it happened to me with the dudes, I just block them. But sometimes when people publicly, argue under my photo, what I sometimes do is to write a comment, but I'm happy that I'm a very rational person. So I don't like put a lot of like emotion into it because I feel like that fuels the whole thing.
It will fuel the whole thing.
And whenever I do write a comment, sometimes I just ignore it. But when I do write a comment, I try to be educational about it. So, and then because I don't want people to insult each other under my photos. I think that's terrible. And that doesn't do anything to the person who's in the wrong. And also it makes yourself angry. Why would you do that to yourself? So yeah, like recently it happened to one of my friends that she is half Vietnamese and she was wearing like this traditional Vietnamese clothing.
Okay.
No, she was wearing dragon earrings.
Okay.
And then people were accusing her of culture appropriating Chinese culture.
And what? And she's Vietnamese.
She's half Vietnamese.
What?
So I don't know. Then I just went to like my friend was really angry because of that. I was like, don't be angry. Let me handle that. And just like wrote this like paragraph on how dragons are not only part of the Chinese culture, also Vietnamese culture. Also the dress that she was wearing, that there's a Vietnamese version of that. And like I was just like bringing on the facts.
Yeah.
So then they can't.
It's very nice of you as a friend to like. That's the best thing a friend can do is jump in for a moment when you're needed like that.
Yeah,
to like
because I don't want.
You don't want to defend yourself over some photo like. Yeah, that's. But what have you heard of? Did you know the Dolce and Gabbana incident?
Oh my God,
that was a true form of. Would you say like?
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
Was terrible, but still, they're still on Fashion Week. Like like people. That's the internet. Like people forget about it after like a couple of weeks, and then they're still like going on and they're still selling stuff.
Are you pretty educated on what happened with Dolce and Gabbana?
Yeah,
Can you share the story? Your point of view?
So basically what happened is they did like they said they love China and this is why they wanted to like do the show in Shanghai for the Chinese market. But the video they did for that, so it was a Chinese girl and they were showing like traditional Italian food.
Right.
And like the Chinese girl in the ad was like trying to eat it, but with chopsticks. But they displayed it like the girl was like so dumb and uneducated and she doesn't know that you don't eat that with chopsticks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just
that's not even like close to being funny. It's just like hard racist.
It was
that you
so
think
racist.
Old Chinese people are not going to know how to eat Italian food because they use chopsticks. Like what? How did that get past? All the way to even production. Like how did that on paper, how did that even get to that level?
Yeah, I'm wondering like the same. Like who did that? And I bet the people making the ad, none of them were Chinese. I swear.
Right.
Because if
it has to be. Like how else could it happen?
Yeah, like whoever made the art direction, like if you want to enter the Chinese market, ask the Chinese person. Like I bet the art director was probably like Italian, like they didn't ask like actual Chinese people how to do it properly. So it was so racist they had to cancel the show because people were angry. Like they destroyed I think they destroyed the venue or something.
Well, do you know where they do Fashion Week here? They do it in Laos, Xintiandi.
Xintiandi, yeah, I've been at Fashion Week last year.
Okay.
I saw it and they like it was crazy. But I totally get why people were angry about it. Like
it's a real good reason to be angry.
Yeah.
Like let it, because whoever Dolce and Gabbana is, like the guy who runs it, there was screenshots of DMs that he had.
Yeah.
They were blatant, like really racist, like actually like making slurs against Chinese
and then
people.
They were lying and be like, oh
that
no, like
us.
That wasn't us. Like someone else wrote that for me. I was like, dude, you have been shitty on the internet for like years. Like not only with this time in China, he was writing racist comments all the time. Like he had shit going. But just and then he was like, no, it was like PR people writing that for me. Like whoever does his PR, I don't know. Like, be an asshole, but don't be it on the internet, like publicly to people. What the fuck?
Crazy. That brings me back to my thought about maybe like these people that are working for Dolce & Gabbana, or even though they might know it's racist and know this is bad, they're forced to do these things because they feel like they could lose their job. Like this guy's a dictator. He's an asshole. He's top of the chain, and he has all the power to fire anyone below him. So maybe it's about changing work culture and work environment. I don't know. It's just my thought on like, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, so like if you, I think it's no excuse though, because I think you should be able to be like, I'm not going to work on this project.
Yeah.
This is racist.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to think through the process of how something like this could happen.
Yeah. I think, the like all the Chinese people working there, they were probably pressured.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because like even there must, now that let's take a closer look at it, there must have been some Chinese people involved because like it's happening in Shanghai. Like they're using Shanghai Fashion Week. People have seen this. I'm curious how something gets to the level where it's like so obvious after the fact.
Yeah.
But in the moment, they don't know. Like there's other crazy racist Chinese ads. Like, I don't know. There's this one where it's a detergent company and this woman is, she has this black dude and she puts him in a washing machine.
What?
And then when he comes out, he's Chinese.
What the
As if he's
fuck?
clean. He's wearing a dirty white shirt when he's put into the washing machine, and then she takes the guy out and he's now Chinese with a clean white shirt.
That is terrible.
It's pretty insane. And now,
what is it still like?
Oh, I'll find the ad and show it to you after the show. Like,
is it still like on air?
I doubt it's on air. I have no idea, but I mean, low key, like things are a little racist out here too. Like that.
Of course,
it's the vibe. It's
of course. Like Chinese people are like, they even have a word for black people called 黑鬼,
Really?
which translate to black monster.
Oh my God.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I'm like, I'm not comfortable speaking about this because like I'm a white man and like, should I be able to talk about what I don't exactly know? But I will talk about from my experience being here. It is a racist community in some senses, like what we just talked about, this ad that somehow gets by and is allowed to happen. And you're helping me confirm my thoughts like, hey, Gui, I did not know that was a word. Like, so yeah. Do you think it's just a matter of like, you know what I think is just the culture has been closed off for so long. Like the culture is.
Yeah. I had like a very, like intense discussion that with my parents because I don't think they want to be racist, but sometimes they think, they think racist about black people. And I realized it's because there's no education about that because they're so far away from it. Because my mom was like, oh, you have to look at the criminal rates, mostly black people doing that. I'm like, have you ever thought about why they are forced to commit crimes to actually survive everywhere?
Yeah, it's forced crime.
Yeah,
I understand.
it's like,
I know what you're talking about.
It's a terrible system, but she never thought about the roots of that problem. And it's always where racism comes from. It's because they don't know it. They don't know it. So they have all of these like cliches, and also Chinese media is not helping, to be honest. Like everything here is so filtered. If I compare Chinese TV to what I see in Germany or like in other like Western countries, it's so different.
Right. I don't speak Chinese fluently enough, and I definitely don't read it enough to understand. And I kind of enjoy that. I'm not bombarded with ads on a daily basis. Like I just don't even know what I'm looking at. I love that. I talked about this with Camden, like we're both marketing backgrounds, and you know, the average person takes in like 3,000 to 5,000 ads a day. And this was a stat that I got when I was back in college.
Yeah.
So imagine what it is today with social media and all that stuff.
Oh, damn.
It is intense, the amount of information you're just being bombarded with.
This is why all the young people nowadays, like I'm also young, but like, I mean, the people who go to school, like the kids go to school, it's hard for them to concentrate because back then our brain was programmed to take in information. And because they grew up, and also we partly grew up in a world where we're like, you know, like we are confronted with so much information that our brain at some point is filtering or blocks out information instead of taking it in. And this is why I personally love to learn languages, because then you train your brain to, you know, like get back into like taking in information.
Right.
No one is reading a book anymore. I think that's really sad.
No, something that I've done recently that I love is like I used to have the mentality that you have to read a book to completion. Like you have to like check it off. Like I read this book. But now I'll like use books just for information. Like if I get something useful, oh, this is great. I got what I wanted. Like I'm like 100 pages through the book. I can put it on pause and be reading almost 20 things at the same time and just getting information. Like you don't have to read a book to get every bit of information. I think this speaks very closely to what you're just talking about. You don't have to take every bit of information in from that book. You can get one or two good thoughts and then like work on it from there. You can sketch or you can like ideate from that and like elevate, if that makes sense. I don't know. Do you read much, or?
I love reading.
What kind of books are you into?
My favorite author is Paul Auster.
Okay.
He's from New York. Like
really?
Like the book that I'm reading right now, for example, it's about like he is writing about this boy who's born in the suburbs of New York, and then he writes 4 different stories. Like his life goes 4 different ways. And I think it's really interesting because it makes you think about what the smallest decision can change in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, in one, like he gets insanely rich. In one, he dies as a kid. In one, he I think his father dies, and then his mom with the insurance money moves to New York with him, and then he grows up there. And in the other one, they went kind of like not poor, but poorer because his dad used to own like this company, and then his brother betrayed him. So it's really interesting. I'm not at the end yet, so I can't tell you. I don't want to spoil it anyway.
Yeah, that's a really cool premise for a book. So it's 4 different timelines basically.
Yeah.
How does that work when you're reading it? Does it bounce back and forth, or?
Yeah, it's like so it starts with the like 0, and then it's like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then it has 4 different alternatives.
Oh, so each chapter is one. That's a really cool way to write a book. That's fun. Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm reading like right now, I think it's called The Road of Eternal Happiness. It's like a somewhat of a true story. It's based here in Shanghai. I forget the author's name, but he's, I believe, the NPR correspondent of Shanghai. So he's lived here for a while, and it's talking a lot about how China has grown as a culture over the past 20 years or 30 years, ever since it's opened up in the 80s, you know, like it was closed and then they opened up. And yeah, it's really fun to learn about where people are coming from. Like when they did the Olympics here in Shanghai, they had to do so much propaganda about like how to be an ideal Chinese citizen. Like they had all this stuff about like waiting in line and queuing and
like,
how to use a toilet properly.
This is terrible. Like the waiting in line thing. I went to Disneyland here once, and I almost started like to really like fight people because they were
throwing elbows with grannies.
Dude,
I do it every day.
They would come into the line and be like, "Oh, someone's waiting for me in the front," and they then try to get past me. I'm like, "No, bitch, you stay where you are."
That's a move I used when I was a kid.
Everyone is lining up. Yeah. Like you line the fuck up.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
get so pissed. But the thing is, it's because I grew up in Germany, and in Germany, everyone is standing in line like properly. No one cuts the line like that.
Right, but I have debates in my own head about this. Like, on one hand, I can say as an individual, I personally believe there is one correct way to do certain things.
Yeah.
But maybe we can all agree on some facts that there are some correct ways to do things. Like, let's all queue in line.
Yeah.
Let's not all spit like in each other's ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but then on the other hand, I'm like, wait, I am in someone else's culture right now. They do things differently. I should try and accept this. But so I go back and forth in my own head, like, how much can I tolerate? At what point is it okay to be just, oh, it's their culture, let them be? Or at what point is to be like, draw the line and be like, that's inappropriate?
It is the culture, but like, I also get where the Chinese people are coming from, because the thing is, China is so overpopulated, and sometimes you have to cut the line to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And very often there is not enough for everyone. Like my parents grew up in Cultural Revolution, so what they had were like basically a piece of paper, and everyone has like a certain amount of food they can get.
Wow.
And that is something you can't imagine. Like right now, I would just go into a supermarket and buy whatever I want, right?
You can't even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. And for them, everything was super limited. So
Mm.
for them, they had to be very conscious about everything. And when they get the food, they had to cut the line to actually get something.
Wow.
So I know where they're coming from. But the thing is, we're living in better times now. And also, I feel like the young people are slowly changing that, you know, like it's still growing and people are still learning. So maybe someday it will be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It does take time. I've heard that as well before. Like in the book, for example, the book I'm reading right now, I'm learning about the Cultural Revolution. And part of it, which was fascinating to find out, was that people like not young, but maybe people in their late teens were forced to go out to the countryside.
My dad did that.
Okay. Oh my God, your dad did that.
Yeah, my dad went out to the countryside for like 2 years.
Got a real one right here. Tell me about, does he shared stories about that? Like
he said it was terrible.
I bet from what I read, like people died having to go out there.
Yeah,
and
so
live
he
these
had
crazy...
he had to get up, like he told me he had to get up at 5 a.m. They had like two meals a day, and he was trying to get as much food in as possible. Like
what?
Because then he had to work on the field for the whole day.
Oh my God.
It was miserable, and he was forced to do that.
Can you tell me where your dad hometown?
So my dad was born in Shanghai.
Born in Shanghai,
Yeah.
so Shanghainese.
Shanghainese.
He's lived. So this is exactly what I'm reading right now. So he's born in Shanghai, and at what age was he forced to go to this like?
I think he said he was like 16 or 17.
So they pull you out of like, let's say you're in high school.
Yeah.
They pull you out of high school and they go force you to work
And
on
they
farms.
sent you out on a farm.
Wow. Oh my God. And okay, I mean, has he told you much more detail about like daily life?
Not really. Like my parents hate to talk about it. Like the only time my mom actually talked about her childhood was actually when we were in a fight. And I was like, you never tell me something about yourself, and I feel like I don't know you, and you're my mom. And then she was crying and telling me like, I don't want to talk about my childhood because it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like my mom was so skinny back then in school that they had like these like, you know, doctor would come and check on all the kids and if everything is fine. And my mom was so skinny that her bones in the back were showing so much that the doctor was asking, are your parents like giving you enough food?
Oh wow.
Like, are you abused at home? And she was like, no, this is
life.
all we have.
This is how it be.
Yeah. And it was really, really bad.
Wow. That's so fascinating. And so did your mother also grow up in the cultural? Yes.
Yeah. My mom was born 64.
In what part of the country? Do you know?
My mom was born in Beijing.
Okay.
But she...
So yeah, two major cities.
Yeah, but she didn't grow up there. I think she went to Dongbei.
Okay.
At some point. And then grew up there. And it was... Yeah, like she grew up... She like one of her fingers, she can't move it. Like her pinky, she can't move it because she had to, like after school, she had to go out in the woods to collect like...
Is this a government program or something?
No, for her home.
Okay.
Just like, you know, like have fire in the house.
To heat the house.
To heat the house.
Yeah, let's get some heat up in it.
And because in Dongbei in winter, it's getting so cold that her...
like hypothermia.
Yeah, if something froze in her finger and now she can't move it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and also my dad, he had like a very big scar on his hand from the time he was on the farm because he like it happens every day that you injure yourself.
Yeah, it's you're working physical manual labor. Maybe you're not even educated in how to do that. They're just throwing people out there into...
Yeah, it was really hard. Like he said it was basically like military camp. That's how he felt.
Because from what I read, men and women were forced to go do that stuff. So your mom might have stayed in Dongbei, or...
Yeah, my mom was lucky. She stayed in Dongbei. And she my mom is amazing. She graduated from high school when she was like 15 or 16 or something. And then she had time to learn another language. And my mom is a satellite kid. Do you know what that means?
Satellite kid. I've heard that term before.
So the satellite kid is when your parents sent you away for like a very long time after they give birth, and then they come back as like when they're older, and it's actually really, really damaging, especially like to the relationship of the parents with the kid. Because my mom, she was born and then she was sent away to her grandparents because like my grandparents, her parents couldn't take care of her because they didn't have enough resources.
Right.
So my mom came back when she was 12 to her parents.
Okay.
So their relationship is really weird because, you come back as a 12-year-old and these are your parents and you didn't have any contact with them.
12 years?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's like some psychological experiment type stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. But when she was in Dongbei, the thing was like, her aunt was a teacher, so she would always go to school with her. So her aunt could like, take care of her.
Did have like a role model, like a parent figure.
Yeah,
the aunt. That's okay. Wow, I'm so like, I can't believe that your parents went through that. Like we happened to stumble across. I would have never guessed. Like,
yeah, it's like my dad always tells me when he was a kid, his parents or my grandparents always tell him to when they play outside to do something on the floor, like play with like how do you call this, like glass?
Oh, Tic Tacs or
no. Just like glass balls?
Marbles.
Yeah, play with marbles or something on the floor because they were scared. They were like gun fights.
Oh, the idea is to lay low?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
that's
insane. But yeah, there's no guns in China, right? Like I feel like, but maybe like military.
Back then, maybe.
Military. The military has guns, but that's a beautiful part of China that I do like is that right now there's like 0 guns in the country and Shanghai happens to feel the safest for me.
It's so safe. Also, there are cameras. Okay, the cameras are scary.
Creepy, but it does keep you safe. So
True.
How do you feel about that? Like
True.
Giving up a little bit of your privacy for safety? What do you think?
It's safe, but it's also creepy. Like, I don't know about the whole like point system they want to invent.
Like, social credit score.
Yeah, the social credit score thing.
Have you seen the episode of Black Mirror?
It's like some Black Mirror shit. I was just about to say that.
I think China saw that episode of Black Mirror and was like, let's fucking do this. Like, why not? Let's go. It is insane. They're literally going to be, for people who don't know, the social credit system, what's going to happen is by 2020, you're going to have a social credit score, just like you have a credit score right now through your financial system. But this is based off of like politeness and the way you interact with people on social media. In China, your face, the camera systems they have right now are like face detective, like from so far away. So let's say, for example, you're jaywalking and you get your face scanned. That's going to decrease your social credit score because it's all connected. Even right now, I'll show you down the street. We'll go get some lunch after this. I'll show you. If you jaywalk, there's a billboard that will have people's faces on it right now to publicly shame them because they've jaywalked.
Oh my God.
It's happening right now. And there's some really funny stuff actually, because one time a bus passed by and it has a billboard on the bus of someone's face. And then the person's face ends up on the billboard for public shaming because like it just got caught like, by mistake. It's insane what's going on right now. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You have to show me that.
Yeah. Literally right down the road. We'll go check it out. It's something to like share with people back home because a lot of people in America, or maybe for you in Germany, can't comprehend this type of like invasive stuff going on.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I don't have the feeling that people here are super threatened, to be honest.
No, and that's why
it feels so normal. Like everyone's just living their lives,
right? And that's
like,
why I actually don't necessarily have a problem with it because the only problem I have with it is like eventually it can go to very dark places.
Yeah.
But let's say it doesn't go to dark places and it keeps everyone safe and we keep progressing as a society because they have to take care of 1.4 billion people. What other way are you going to do it? So I'm okay with it until it gets dark. But actually getting back into the comparison of China to Germany, like we're talking about how it could maybe get dark here, but like in Germany, how are they dealing with like technological changes? Like in terms of like the way we're being surveilled here, do you think it's as strong in Germany right now or like what's going on with that?
I don't think in Germany it's that strong, to be honest. No, I don't see cameras on the street and but Germany is, I don't know, everyone is just like following the rules. Like I feel like Berlin is actually pretty safe. Just like some areas try to avoid them at night. It happened to me once that like someone was starting like I was at Cottbusser Tor in Kreuzberg with friends, and then some of them were like trying to sell us drugs and we're like, no, we don't want them, and then was like kind of like starting a fight. And then this was all distraction because then I felt someone like trying to
Oh
reach
my
into my
God.
pocket to
Yeah.
steal my shit. I was like, hell no. Yeah. So yeah, it's some areas are not as safe as Shanghai.
Right. Well, living in Germany. So are you based in Germany right now? Would you say that? Like
Yeah, I'm based in Berlin.
Berlin.
Mhm.
Okay. So how is that? How is life in Berlin as a 23-year-old?
23. I love Berlin because Berlin is full of young people. But the one problem that Berlin has, what I think is a problem, is a lot of young people go there because they want to pursue something creative. And it's so cheap to live there in comparison to, for example, London. Like in London, you really have to, or in New York, you have to really hustle to survive. And Berlin is so cheap that you don't need to put in effort. So a lot of people are getting very lazy. So they just, like do like being, I'm not saying like being a waiter is like so bad.
Right. But
like,
it
it's
maybe
like,
isn't
it's
your
like
dream job.
yeah, it isn't their dream job, but it's enough to get by and go
So
out
even
every
just,
week.
so you're saying cost of living is just not that
It's
tough.
not that high. No, it's really, really cheap.
And you live in like an apartment. How would you compare it to Shanghai in terms of like the pace of the city? You say you ride your bike in Berlin.
Oh yeah, it's really chill, actually. It's really, really calm. Like whenever I'm in London, I feel like, oh, the city is so stressful, and Berlin is really, really calm.
Wow.
Like
so if you think London is stressful, like are you having a heart attack here in Shanghai?
Oh no, like I think it's only stressful for me because I work there. Like I actually like big cities, but London is for me stressful because I hate the public transportation there. And Uber is also shitty because the traffic is so shitty. This is what stresses me out. I love the public transport here in Shanghai, actually. It's really good.
I think it's the best in the world.
Yeah.
I really
amazing.
think, imagine like comparing it to New York as well. New York, I have to say, New York it's got an amazing nostalgic feel to it. Like when you're down there.
But it's filthy. You know what?
Absolutely.
You know what
filthy.
happened to me once? I was in New York and I was taking the subway and like a crazy person walked in and sat next to me and screamed into my ear, I would rather die than getting together with a Chinese chink. And he was like screaming at me. He was like, what the hell? And then I stood up and I was trying to get away from him because I think because I'm tall, I'm not usually not like super scared, but I'm scared of crazy people because I don't know.
They're so erratic. You have no idea what's going to happen.
I have no idea like what he's going to do. Is he going to like stab me or something? I don't fucking know. So I moved away from him and he started to follow me.
Jesus.
Through the subway. I was like, damn, this is my last day. And then I was lucky that there was like a Puerto Rican woman and she was kind of overweight and she was like this massive female sitting there and she was like waving me like come to me.
I got your back.
I got your back. And she stood up and she was like, you think you ghetto? I'm gonna show you what ghetto is. And she kicked him out of the subway.
Wow, what a fucking...
And I was like, oh my God, you're my hero.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately here, I feel like that is a problem in China, that people don't have each other's backs.
No, that's true. Like if someone just like, collapses on the street, they are scared to help because
worse than that, people like will just circle around and
take photos of it or something. But my dad told me that's because it happened back then that old people who are really like, they don't have any money, so they would just collapse on the street. And then when someone tries to help that person, these people would just like, like
they're doing it for money. It's a scam.
Yeah, they scam them. So basically what they do is they say, oh, you were the one who pushed me.
Yeah.
Even when you're the person
this is true. I've heard this as well.
This is terrible. And now like everyone is scared to help because they think it could be scam.
Yeah. For people, I'll try and get a little more in depth. I've had my own experience with this as well. And what happens is if you see like an accident on the street and there's someone who's maybe lying there in pain, you can tell they need help. People will not get involved because the way the law here is set up is if you get involved, you may be liable, even if it's after the fact. That's what I've heard. And even myself, I've had one incident where this drunk guy, I'll try and make the story a little shorter. He ends up just like grabbing my scooter and he's not letting me go. It was crazy. And I thought it's a joke. And like this guy is drunk and he must be 300 pounds. This is a big dude.
What the fuck?
Big dude. My girlfriend fooled in. She's on the back of the scooter. She gets off and she's like, ha ha ha, this is funny. And then all of a sudden, I see that he grabbed the keys out of my scooter and then in his
What?
hand. And somehow I grabbed them really quick out of his hand. And that's when I got scared. I'm like, this isn't funny anymore. This guy is dangerous. He's like trying to do something very weird. The weirdest part about it, there's 40 people circled around me and I'm asking for help. Like, yo, everyone, please help me get this guy off my scooter. He's clearly like doing something bad. Like, and everyone doesn't even acknowledge that I say that.
Yeah.
They don't even acknowledge that I said that. So there's all these people causing a commotion, standing around me, and this guy is like he's dry heaving on me. He is very drunk and he's like about to puke. And I'm like actually shaking. I'm shaking out of fear because like I know in my head I can't hit this guy. I can't shove him. If I do anything like that, there's going to be cause for getting me in trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm literally standing like trying to support this guy on my scooter for 20 minutes until the police come. And just before the police come, the people around me do try and help me kind of drag him off the scooter. And I jet away and then I end up having to go to the police station and get questioned.
Yeah.
And like I explained my side of the story and it was terrifying. It was terrifying that there was this 300-pound man and I can't do much about it. Like what I could have done is I could have like basically gotten off the scooter and walked away. But what would have happened is he would have slammed it to the ground, probably damaging my scooter. I have to deal with all this bullshit about like getting it repaired. And I'm probably not going to get any money out of this guy. I don't want to go through the process of that.
Yeah.
So other than that, Shanghai's a safe place. No, but like getting back to the idea of no responsibility for helping other people. Why does that exist? There is this one story. It's called Little Yue Yue. And the story of a girl who got run over by a car and people saw but didn't help because they don't want to get in trouble. And then she ends up getting run over again because she's sitting there in the road.
Oh my God.
So after that, we can look this up after. Like there has been laws put into place to try and enforce this because it's a social behavior. This is not,
definitely.
This is a social behavior of people not wanting to get involved and help people. I'm curious.
It's a very selfish thought though, because the only reason why they don't want to be involved because they are scared that they're going to get in trouble themselves.
Definitely. They do think that they'll get in trouble themselves. But I guess the way that you can change that is through law.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with all this surveillance these days, like, let's put it out there. Like, you're not going to get in trouble. Like in America, I think we have this thing called the Good Samaritan policy or a good civilian. You're not going to get in trouble for like, because this is what doctors go through. Doctors, for example, will be trying to revive someone and save their life, but they'll die under their care and they'll get sued by the family.
Yeah.
Because even though they're trying to help, you can still sue a doctor because there's like a million things that maybe they could have done that they didn't do. So it's about like doctors are protected. This is why a lot of doctors go into work at big hospitals because they have massive lawyer teams that will have their back to protect them against this stuff. And that's why going into private practice is like, maybe you'll make more money, but you have to have your own legal team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Quite a big turn from our discussion.
Being a doctor is scary. My sister is a med student.
Oh, really?
She's going to be a doctor soon. And yeah, they also teach her in med school that you're not God. And sometimes, like when people die, it happens. And they have extra courses with like how you deal with that and how you deal with the family.
How you deal with the family, but then how you even deal with yourself. Like you should have you have to like be prepared to go through something so traumatic.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. That job is not for me. My father is a doctor actually, and he has to go through a lot of stuff. It's so much
responsibility. It's so much responsibility. It's crazy.
What kind of medicine is she studying to do?
So she's still like, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but for her, she has to do like the basics first. And then after
you do general internal medicine.
Yeah. And then after the 6th semester or something, she has to decide in which direction she wants to go. So she's in the 3rd, I think right now. I'm not sure, or 4th?
3rd year or 4th year? Or semester?
Semester.
Okay, 3rd or 4th semester.
Yeah.
Cool. So she's, still in the time where she'll decide what she wants to do.
Yeah.
I know my father's a gastroenterologist and my friend is right now in New York. He's doing like plastic surgery and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's super, I look up to him because he's doing like reconstructive for people who
probably got into accidents or
accidents,
something. Yeah.
or he's not doing like get a nose job type shit. Like,
Okay.
that's super shallow in my opinion to do that type of work. I mean, you know what? I think it can help some people, but like if you have the tiniest little thing and you're gonna go out there and do plastic,
Yeah.
what's your opinion on that? Do you have a lot of friends that have done that? Or like in this industry, I'm talking professionally in this industry. What's your
In this
perspective?
industry, like I feel like most of my friends have lip injections
Hmm.
now. And it's like it's so weird to me because I don't know, I'm personally, I don't want to go through pain to look a
Right.
certain way.
I
I
feel
don't
you.
think it's worth it, and I'm okay with how Mother Nature created me.
Sure.
But for some people, I totally get it. Like if you're being bullied for your nose your entire life
Mm.
and you can change it, why not?
Right.
Wasn't there like in China like a lawsuit, like a dude actually
Oh,
sued
I
his
know what you're talking-
wife because she went through a lot of plastic surgery
Yeah.
and then their kids turned out ugly or something.
This is somewhat of a myth. This story is very interesting. There's a couple different angles you can look at this story.
Okay.
The one that I know of is actually taking it's might not be a true story actually. And what happened is there's a model and she got casted to do the role where the kids are ugly and her and the husband in the shoot are beautiful. And it's some either an internet joke or like make sure you know your wife's true history.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have kids that look like this. Turns out she never had plastic surgery. It cost her career because people don't want to work with her because they think that she's like fake and her name is tarnished over something that actually isn't true.
What?
Yeah. How crazy of a turn is that? Let's look it up after because I want to get the hard facts on this story.
Okay. Yeah. Same. I only heard about it from. I don't know who told me that, but yeah, someone told me that.
Yeah, it turns out that she, like how weird. I don't know how that even happens. So like, how do you think? I guess that would happen if you had so much plastic surgery. Your kids are gonna look the way that you're genetically
Plastic
are.
surgery is crazy. I saw like before after photos. I was like, damn, you can alter basically everything. You can look like a complete different person now.
Yeah, I saw this one photo that was going around on like WeChat of this guy who got fake abs put in his stomach. And it's literally like, it's like a photo by photo process. And it looks like paper mache abs. And then they like put it on his skin and then somehow layer his skin back over it. It is creepy.
Oh my God.
It could be fake as well.
That
but
sounds terrible. That sounds gross, to be honest.
I don't know about all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you tell me that you're thinking about moving to New York?
Mhm.
Yeah. So like, what's the timeline on that? How serious? Like,
So I like New York was always the place I wanted to live, but I need to look up the whole figure out the whole visa thing because
the
since
legal
Trump
issue.
since Trump is president, it's getting harder even with a German passport to get a work visa. So yeah, I'm working on that, but hopefully next year, end of next year.
Cool.
That would be sick.
And you visited a bunch, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like because the thing is when I moved to Berlin, I had like people I know, but not really like friends, you know? So
Okay.
the first year in Berlin was really hard for me because I felt very alone. And the good thing about New York is I already know people that I'm like friends with. And I feel like I wouldn't be alone when I moved there because I feel like New York is not a good place to be alone. It's
No,
probably-
like, so are you saying you already have like a solid group of friends that are in New York?
Yeah.
Then you're set up.
Yeah.
That's my outlook on moving anywhere. Like, I don't want to live in Shanghai forever, but I do want to kind of be based in Shanghai. I love this city and I want to be based here. But when looking at moving to a new city, if you have like a couple of friends there, it opens the door to their friends who have other friends.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, that's all it
And
takes.
they take you to like parties or something. And
Yeah.
then you meet other people, you know?
Exactly. Because moving to a new city is like networking all over again
I know.
from scratch.
I know. When I first moved to Berlin, it was because I was like, I'm not from like a tiny city, but still like people there are like the most that I meet are super friendly and stuff. And especially in the industry that I work in, like fashion industry is very shallow. So when I went to my first events, and I talked to people and everyone was super nice and like, yo, let's grab a coffee together, blah, blah, blah. You will never grab a coffee with them.
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. They just say it to be nice and be like fake friendly. And that was really weird for me because I didn't know that. Like this whole fake friendly thing. And it's I feel like it's gonna be even worse when I'm in the States, because in the States, like even when I go to restaurants, like the waiter is coming to my table every 5 seconds and be like, "Oh, how's the food? Oh, hope you have a wonderful day." And that was like so weird to me, because
Mm,
Germans are not like, they bring you the food and they leave you alone.
yeah. They work on a completely different system over in America because we give out tips.
Yeah, I know, but like in Germany, you also give tips, but not
Really?
as much as in the States.
I
Yeah.
thought all of Europe was pretty much on a no tip system.
No,
but-
like in Germany, you tip.
Oh,
You
interesting.
do.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been to London, Amsterdam, and Norway.
Yeah, they don't
And-
tip in London. Also, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, in America, it's okay. So we were talking about New York and how you're gonna move there.
Mm-hmm.
I I think Los Angeles is more of a fake city than New York in terms of the people who will say, "Oh, like let's get
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
and let's not."
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, Los Angeles is terrible for that kind of stuff. It's like
Yeah.
you're just literally playing a game. It's a
Yeah.
game. The business world is a
It's
game.
crazy, yeah.
Have-
I've been to LA and it was just not really my vibe. I get
Mhm.
why people move there, especially from New York.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. The weather is nice. You have so much physical space there,
Mhm.
which is non-existent in New York. Like last time I was there, I booked an Airbnb and it was like 50 square meters big or something. I
Mm.
shared the space with the host,
Mm.
and he told me his rent in East Village is $4,000 a
Yeah,
month.
it's absolutely
I was
insane.
like, what the fuck? This apartment is tiny.
Absolutely insane. The rent in New York is mind-boggling. It's not affordable by any standard. That's why like if I moved there, I would probably live somewhere in Brooklyn or
Mhm.
I mean at this point people are like moving out to Queens
Yeah.
just to be able to like afford to live. I'm from Long Island, which is like right next to there. So I kind of know about the hidden gems. Like we have beaches, beautiful beaches,
Mhm.
only an hour away by train. Like
Yeah.
and not many people know about it. So
I went to Rockaway Beach.
yeah,
It was
Rockaway
nice.
Beach is
Yeah.
beautiful. They got good surfing down there. And that's why I think I will end up eventually in New York because, just my family is all in New York.
Mhm.
And I love the East Coast of America is amazing because I went to school up in Vermont
Mhm.
and we have beautiful mountains to go snowboarding and like
Oh, that's
beautiful
sick.
lakes and that kind of stuff. And then Long Island is just east of New York City, and we got amazing beaches like the Hamptons and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Have you ever been out to Long Island?
No, I haven't.
You-
But if I move there, I'm definitely gonna check like all the areas.
Yeah, I'll let
outside,
you
like-
know for sure.
yeah.
Everything you need to see because, like, they have the Hamptons right out there and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's really, really cool spaces out there to go surfing, and some of the parties out there in the Hamptons can get like super bougie, like Los
Oh
Angeles.
yeah, I can imagine. Like I've been
Yeah.
to a couple parties in LA
Mm.
and it was weird. It was like this bottle service kind of thing.
Mm.
And I'm like, Shanghai has that as well. Like Shanghai has a lot of clubs where they do like bottle service.
Mhm.
And I'm not used to that. Like in Berlin, like a lot of clubs that I go to, they look terrible. Like it's
Hmm.
graffiti, it's stickers everywhere, and the bathrooms look terrible.
Mm.
But it's cool because all the people who go there really, like want to be there. And it's not about to be seen or something. It's
Hmm.
really about like going there, enjoying the music and having fun.
Mm.
I never dress up to go out in Berlin. I just go in what I would usually wear
Mm. Oh, I think
and sneakers.
I feel like you normally dress up more than the average person. Like your style,
I
this
mean,
is like.
yeah.
So it looks like
kinda.
as if you were dressing up, probably.
Yeah, kind of. But it's still like what I would never wear like a dress and heels.
Yeah, that's
to-
just
to
not
go
your
to a club.
style.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. For
If-
some reason, the other day I was listening to Grimes, and do you know Grimes?
Yeah, I know
Grace?
Grimes. Yeah.
You remind me of her, like her vibe.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like I was listening to her song, I think Pretty in Dark or Pretty in
Mhm.
something. And I don't know, and the music video to that too is very like,
She's sick, so I take that as a compliment.
definitely is a compliment. She's awesome. Yeah. She dated Elon Musk.
No.
Yeah. She was dating Elon Musk
What?
for a while. Yeah.
That is such a weird combination.
And that's why I love it. Like how weird of a combination is like some like I don't know what would you call her genre of music? Like not techno, not
No,
like house,
it's like
like
electronic pop.
electronic pop
kinda,
sounds
yeah.
about right. And the way she alters her voice and everything to sound like anyways, just
She's an icon.
yeah, definitely is an icon. And to see her, like I saw some photos with her and Elon Musk. And it's so bizarre, just like this super nerdy. Because I was listening to him on a podcast, and the way he thinks is kind of dark. Like
Yeah.
this dude Joe Rogan, he was like, asking him like, so what is it like inside the mind of Elon Musk? And
Uh-huh.
Elon is like, well, it's a dark place, Joe. You wouldn't want to be here. Just like, and I'm like, Joe's face was like, what is going on? Like inside, because like he's an incredible genius. Just I don't understand how someone can do that many things at once.
Yeah.
Like all the business he does, like Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
PayPal, his rocket SpaceX. He's doing like a boring company where he goes underground.
Wasn't he also like he's trying to like go on Mars?
Yeah, with SpaceX, he's trying to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Be one of the first people. That world of money blows my mind. So there's like, Jeff Bezos who owns Amazon, and then
Mhm.
there's Elon Musk who has Tesla and all
Yeah,
these other
a friend of mine
companies.
once had to. She's a singer, and she was singing at the birthday party of what is it? Dyson, Mr. Dyson.
Okay.
And she was like, that was the most insane party she has ever been to because it was in his mansion somewhere in like close to London, I think. And he had like 9 different gardens, and like each garden was a different theme. And she was like singing in one of the gardens, and then she talked to the guests. Like there were thousands of guests. I was like, how can one person have so many friends?
Wow.
They're probably not like friends, but also like co-workers or something. So they're all invited to this giant party. And then she talked to some people, and she was like, how is like Mr. Dyson like? Because obviously you can't be everywhere at the same time. So they're like, oh, we like him because he never spends money on unnecessary stuff. And that in that moment, just like 7 like jets flew over the property and was like, do the color.
Oh my
You know
God.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like
the streams of the
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 streams of
clouds.
color.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, no unnecessary stuff.
Yeah, their world is just completely different than ours. They have no idea what is unnecessary. Or
Yeah,
what
but
isn't.
I'm actually not jealous of when especially when kids grow up in that environment, because as Kylie said, like it's boring because you have so much money. Like it doesn't matter what you want, you will have it like within a second.
Yeah, you get bored of it.
Yeah,
You'll get bored
it's-
of anything that becomes normal.
Yeah, it's super boring. And because when I like buy something like for example, a luxury item for myself, and I think about, wow, I worked for that. Like I didn't have to ask my parents for money for that.
Yeah.
Like I never asked I like haven't asked my parents for a single penny since I was 18 or something. So I always make my own money, and that feeling is really, I feel like I accomplished something. And if you grow up in that environment and you don't have to work for anything, I feel like that's really, really boring.
I completely agree. And like that gets back to my thought of the process and loving it. Like if you're not loving getting to it, like these kids who were born into wealth lose to the understanding of learning how to like work for themselves, how to get to a certain level of success. If you're handed it, you're not going to like know the value of it. Cause like everyone's taught as a kid, or not everyone actually, but like for me, I was taught as a kid, like we're going to teach you the value of $1. Like, what does that mean really? Like you're going to have chores. You're going to have to do them every day, or else you're not going to get this $1 for you to go out and buy some candy or something. So yeah, when you grow up without those lessons, you're not going to know how to function as an adult. And it translates into ways that you really can't comprehend until it's too late.
Yeah.
Until you don't know you've already missed out on learning that experience.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, very true. So I want to wrap up with you trying to give me some advice and maybe some listeners' advice on like how to be more like creative or like go towards your own goals. Like you're in a position where you're able to do what you love. So, and that didn't happen overnight. So what kind of advice would you maybe give to people that right now want to be creative, want to live some type of lifestyle like that, but are maybe not able to yet?
So the thing is, before I'm where I am, but I tried out a lot of stuff. And I think the best advice that I can give everyone, don't be scared to fail. Because I dropped out of university. That was one failure. I wanted to study chemistry engineering, didn't do it. That was a failure. I applied for pilot school, but a lot of people don't know.
Wow.
And they didn't take me. I think it was a sexist thing, but whatever.
In Germany?
Yeah. They rarely take girls.
Huh. Interesting.
And that was a failure. And all these failures brought me to where I am now. So just try out things and don't be scared to fail because it's normal.
Mm.
Not everyone was born successful. Ah, I can't pronounce it.
Successful. Yes.
Successful.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, no, it's so funny that you mentioned that. Like yesterday, I had my friend on, Theo. The podcast hasn't come out yet. And we talked just about that. His advice was just don't be afraid to fail. And I completely subscribe to that idea as well. And like, because if you fail, you take it as a lesson.
Yeah.
And you learn from it.
Yeah, I don't regret anything that I did. I don't regret the 3 semesters I did in university, even though like for some people, oh, you wasted time because you didn't really need that. I was like, no, it was a life lesson.
Yeah.
I don't regret anything.
Yeah. Well said. Well, Kicki, thank you so much for being on. This has been a true pleasure. I think you're doing amazing stuff with
Thank
your
you.
Instagram and your modeling career. It's really exciting. You're so young. You have so much more ahead of you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited for the future.
Hell yeah. I'll see you in New York when you go there. I'll come and I'll show you Long Island a little bit. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Take care. Boom. That's it. Thanks so much for listening. I really am excited about how this podcast is turning out, but I can always improve. I would love to hear your feedback. If you want to reach out and suggest I talk about something specific or have a specific guest on, you can email me at shanghaiobserved@gmail.com. That is shanghaiobserved@gmail.com. Also, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by shanghaiobserved.com/shop. That's right, I'm plugging my own shop. It means so much that people already buy my stuff. If you want to support me, you can go to shanghaiobserved.com and buy a shirt or whatever's on there right now. Even if you buy a sticker, it really supports and helps me do what I love to do. I owe it all to you guys. Thank you so much for listening and supporting me. Thanks a bunch. Peace, guys. Also, if you enjoyed the intro and outro music, it was made by my brother, Danny Greenberg. You can go and check out his beats at soundcloud.com/estoric. ESTORIC. Okay, that's it for now. Peace.